But football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I hate football!
They're like, Pat, how'd you punt so well today? I'm like, good question.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? Yes, I did.
Well, fellas, welcome back to another Laces Out at official AJ Hawk at Pat McAfee Show. Fellas, hope you had a great Veterans Day weekend. Off the top, I got to say that this was shaping up to be a really great weekend for college football. A lot of huge games, a lot of big rivalry games, whatever, and like a crap fest for pro football, because literally Sunday there was one game that involved two teams with winning records, and that game was New Orleans at Buffalo, which was a complete blowout. So yet somehow pro football managed to put together a great weekend of games. How you fellas doing?
Great, Jerry. What an incredible introduction there. Our opening music just gets better and better each week when it hits my ears. And I think today's entertainment value was high. I mean, we had a lot of drama. There was a lot of bullshit. John Fox at one moment in there. I mean, the Jaguars pull out a thriller at the end and with a revenge kick. I mean, it was a big day for the NFL. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, but okay, let's say you are John Fox in that situation. Jerry, explain exactly for people that don't know what he did with the challenge.
Okay, ball, long run down to the goal line. Guy might have gotten in, might not have gotten in. He throws the challenge flag, and because he had lost control and hit the pylon, by rule, that means it's a turnover. Now, if Fox had left that stupid red beanie bag in his sock,
he could have never known.
It's first and goal from the 1-inch line.
I think it was from the 2 or the 3. I think it was going to be at the 2 or the 3. But it's still like such a shitty happening for John Fox. Like, that sucks so bad. Chicago Bears fans are just like, this motherfucker. Like, we had a ball and you give it to the other team, cuz? Like, I think it sucks for John Fox because there's no way he could have known. But goddamn, it looks bad, bro.
Okay.
Don't you think though, Jerry? So don't you think though? Let's say John Fox doesn't throw the challenge flag. Hopefully, Chicago's scoreboard operators see it and they delay showing the replay, because if they showed it and John didn't throw it, don't you think Mike McCarthy would have thrown his challenge flag?
I think it's a risk reward thing for Fox. Like, Fox has to sit there and say, What am I worried about? That I'm not putting 6 on the board? Like, again, worst case scenario, I'm first and goal. But if Mike McCarthy ends up challenging it because you didn't, okay, now the risk is on him. But like, Fox had very little to gain and everything to lose, and he lost it. And credit to Big Cat for putting out the video where they showed the look on Fox's face and played the theme from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Spot on, perfect. And by the way, quick shout out before we get into these games. The Laces Out Show Twitter feed for putting out a video that went completely viral. Did you see the game Saturday where team came out with their offensive line literally in a hog trailer?
Yeah. That shit was out of control. I don't know how I feel about it. I think we captioned it very well. We sold the people watching it that it was a super awesome move. I don't know how I feel about it, AJ. Did you see this shit? The rest of the team is out there waiting for them. They're rolling in a goddamn hog trailer. And then they run 30 yards and stop. Like, what the fuck is going on? They just, because they're shaking a hog trailer. The caption was like, if the other team's doing this, you have no chance. I'm like, if the other team's doing that, those motherfuckers got a lot of time on their hands to be thinking of some dumbass shit.
And you know
what team was it?
It was some high school team.
Yeah, some high school team. And when we say hog trailer, full on,
Hog
like
fucking
the size of a
Big Suey.
Winnebago, that is packed with swine heading to the slaughterhouse. And you know what, sneaky Pat? My favorite part of the whole thing was the truck drove right onto the running track. Because
I didn't even,
F the track leads.
You know
So
what
if we
my
tear
favorite
that
part
up,
of it was?
Who cares?
My favorite part of it was this. Listen, so they're shaking this fucking trailer, okay? Like, hey, I don't know how big these hogs are that normally shake these trailers. Are these trailers used to just getting shook the fucking shit out of this? I don't know. I got a lot of questions. Then the assistant coach gets out from shotgun. He's sitting shotgun. He didn't even drive. I don't know if he's the head coach or not. He starts banging on the outside like as if he's roweling them up. He starts like hitting the thing while he walks all the way to the front, a slow walk, while these high schoolers are caged up in a hog trailer, and then he lets it open and they run 30 yards and stop. I'm like, what are we doing? What? The offensive line, cuz? Jeez Louise.
I like it. I just watched it again. One of my favorite parts.
Listen to him. He's liking this shit.
I am. The coach that got out from shotgun and he walked the slow walk, but he was like kind of banging on the side of the trailer as well, like just building up the suspense.
Rowling, that's literally, thanks for listening. That's literally what I just said. That's literally my exact.
I know. The question is, what was the final score of the game?
Did they win?
That's a great point.
I
That's a
hope
great
they
point.
lost by 40.
Right. Because stunts are fantastic when they friggin' work.
You know what? They probably won, and if I was in high school, I'd probably think this is the coolest thing ever. I'd probably want to be in that damn thing with the offensive line. But goddamn, watching it on the internet, I thought the world loved it a little bit too much. I was like, hey guys, I don't think we should be a society that 100% endorses this. Like this is something we should maybe bow off of a little bit.
Well, you know what, I'm all about celebrating diversity. I think you guys know that's why I exist on this planet. Mm-hmm. What happens if your right guard happens to be Muslim, and you're saying we're gonna load you into a hog trailer? Wow. Now does everybody not get on the hog trailer?
You know what? That head coach is getting fired tomorrow, and he doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know that you just started a fucking PR nightmare for that team. They have no clue that they're getting sued before the end of this week. They don't even know that that's happening. I didn't even think of that, and you're 100% right. That guy probably end up in jail, the coach that put him in that trailer. That was trying to rile him up. He might end up in jail for that.
Oh, it's a hate crime all day long. How dare you say a hog trailer? And if you want to say like a cow trailer, I don't know what they would call them.
Bro, the head coach gets out.
What if the guy's from India? Okay, now you're screwed.
The head coach gets out and does a show for the crowd, Jerry. He starts banging on it for the crowd. He's putting on a show. What are they doing over there? Did they win? AJ.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they won or lost. It's like Tin Cup. We know that the shot he finally made over the water.
By the way, I love a good grudge hold, and like a good commitment to something. But boy, at some point, Tin Cup there's a moment where even he had to second guess himself, and he just kept on going. I mean, you got to respect that. Like he's 7, 8 in at the time, and he just kept on going. That fucking guy.
You know what Tin Cup probably did, Pat?
Huh?
I bet Tin Cup was a part of my bookie. What do you think?
I don't think you said that right, but I know what you're saying.
It's like shoehorn him in. Patch. Holiday cash. You need it, and I know where to get it.
Yeah,
My bookie is the place to score serious cash on your sports predictions. Yeah. Believe it or not, Big Jer, the holidays are just around the corner, and while that means plenty of parties, gifts, and spending, it also means there's lots of football, basketball, and hockey games you can score big. You can score big on every day. Man up, I'm going to add to this, or woman up, like the pros do on game day. Add that to the copy. You can play the money line, side, or total. My bookie is your hookup for all your betting needs and offers super fast payouts when you win.
Hey, listen, hold on. You can't just be complimenting yourself on adding to the ad.
I'm just thinking about all the female listeners out there.
Yeah, but you're like tooting your own horn in the middle of the ad about adding on to the ad. Like that's one of the most impressive tooting of your own horns I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm signaling, Pat. That's what I'm doing here. Where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on. And if you want to make money betting the games, you got to go to mybookie.ag. They're the only site I'd recommend. I trust them, but don't take my word for it. Check them out yourself. They have odds on every matchup and a mobile site that makes wagering on your smartphone a breeze. Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code LACES to activate offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, and you get paid, male or female.
The opinions of the host did not necessarily reflect the opinions of MyBookie.com. MyBookie.com does not in any way encourage golfers to keep hitting balls into the drink in order to lose on purpose.
MyBookie.ag, Jerry.
You gotta throw that in
Wow.
there.
MyBookie.ag. I love them, by the way. Big fans. They do it right, bro. Everything they offer is outstanding. It's truly the place to go, place to be. And you should man and woman up, I think, and just get out there. You play, you win, and you get paid. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Now, fellas, we have summarily rejected any effort to rein this show in, to give it structure, to add blocks, right? We are going to remain the stream of unconsciousness that we have been from the beginning. So I'm even reluctant to give out game balls, other than I want to just give one out to old school football by the most unlikely team in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Pounding the friggin' rock like it's 1934. Like it's Amos Alonzo Stagg or like George Hallis or something. Like that was insane. Like Buffalo's a good defense. And I now live in a world where the New Orleans Saints ran for 5 rushing touchdowns, had a drive that was it 94 yards, 96 yards. Every inch of it was gained on the ground, and frigging Drew Brees finished it with a quarterback keeper. I've seen it all. This is the most bizarre year.
How did the New Orleans Saints score 47 points and Drew Brees throws for 184 yards and 0 touchdown passes? That's unheard of.
And 0 punts. Let's remember that. 0 punts.
Was there really?
Right.
Maybe that's why I didn't see any of the game. It wasn't on. It wasn't on Red Zone. Right, this was all Red Zone, actually, Pat. I know you're upset with the Red Zone people.
Well, they're just terrorists. That's all. Trying to take out a good man, a punter. Just trying to eliminate them from their work. Line of
Pat, you know they talked about, Pat, would you watch this show? So different networks have experimented with having shows that are strictly just about the specialist, like special teams players, punts, kickoffs, field goals, everything. Would you watch that?
The only time anybody would watch it is if I was hosting it.
I know. I'm trying to pub you a little bit.
So there's no way it wouldn't work. They tried. They already tried. But I feel like because I got a chance to work under Adam Vinatieri and with Adam Vinatieri, I know so much about everything special teams because the guy has literally been there, done that with everything. He threw the first hideout fake field goal way back in the day whenever he was a Patriot. He has a perfect passer rating still to this day. He talks about it. It was just like an easy lob to a little hideout player on a field goal. It was the first time it ever happened.
Can I amplify that? Because I'm working on my second book, and I just wrote about that 2 days ago. It was Troy friggin' Brown.
There it is.
Around the time when they started, and this was 2004, they won the Super Bowl that year. They experimented with Troy Brown as an emergency DB, and then they needed him. And so in one game, he caught 3 passes. He made 3 tackles, and they called it the sleeper play.
Yeah, it's a sleeper. It's like a hideout.
Yeah, it was like a chip shot field goal. He comes in inside the numbers because you have to by rule and just identified himself to an official and then act like he was walking off the field, and Vinatieri just lobbed it to him.
So people started doing that so often, and people were getting so pissed off about it. Like fans, teams were getting so. Then they made a rule where you could only do it if it was in between the 30s or something. Like if it was in between the substitute area. Like they changed the rule where you couldn't do the sleeper play anymore. So we had it in every single week. Me and Jack Doyle, my guy Jack Doyle, we would run it against our defense every single week. Because it was a real legit threat. Because if the person's coming off the edge and they don't even look out, They have no idea. They're not even thinking about that. This is a completely different situation. They don't even think about it. They're just trying to get the block. We would run it, and then it got changed. And it all started with fucking Vinatieri. It all fucking started. I literally feel like I know a lot about punting and kicking, and I very much enjoy it. Like, I love it. I very much enjoy it. So, like, me talking about it's just a little bit different. I think some dudes are real fucking talented. Like, I think there's some guys that are really fucking good, and it's just good stuff.
Look, I'm not here just to honk on your
AJ.
bone, but I'll do it voluntarily. But every week now, I'm fascinated to see you breaking down this stuff, because I think I'm like the vast majority of people out there. I think it's long snapper. That job is automatic. Holder gets it down. Kicker kicks like there's nothing to it. And now I know how wrong I've been my whole life. You have disabused me of the notion that it's all just three guys doing simple jobs.
It is simple compared to a lot of crazy shit, but there's a lot going on. That's all I think. That's truly all I think. But, AJ, you're saying people have been talking about having that channel? Who?
I know
probably
they've put it
ESPN.
out there over the years, like
Probably
ESPN, NFL Network. Different players have brought up a lot of times.
Sure, it
I
won't
know
be
guys
corny over there.
in the media that were special teams players mainly. They've brought it up and said, "Don't you think this could be a good show?" And at the time, I said, "Absolutely not. No
Did
one's
Jay
going to tune
Feely
into
say that?
No, I've never spoken with Jay Feely. I know
Are
he's
you
your
friends
boy,
with
so give me
Jay
his number.
Feely? Are you
I've never
friends with
spoken.
Jerry? I think AJ's friends with Jay Feely.
What if I was?
I feel like AJ's friends with
I know
like
you are.
everybody.
I know you're friends with Jay Feely. That's why I just want you to relay a message or talk to him. Like, tell him to chill the fuck out, you know? Like, hey.
I think you told him. I think you just told him.
Okay, you're not the voice. Like, I did not appreciate whenever Jay Feely was the voice of all kickers and punters. I was like,
He still is. What are you talking about?
he is not, bro. The majority of the brand was like, that's not our guy. Like, he's very good at what he does. But, like, punters and kickers are mostly just, like, beer drinkers, like, very chill, just guys that like to have a good time.
I don't know about that. Kickers and punters are, well, it depends. A lot of kickers are.
No, I think the guys who are good, you're going to see a large majority of them are dudes that enjoy drinking beers, probably. If I had to guess.
Yeah, you might be. Yeah, you're probably right. But don't you think a lot of kickers are super like anal and repetitive and OCD?
I think there are some dudes that are like when I was with Matt Stover, that was the first person I'd ever seen that was like that, like yelling at himself and shit, like literally yelling at himself before every kick. I'm like, we would go out there for a kick, okay, and he came in because Vinatieri was hurt. They ended up getting into a kickoff against each other like week 13 or 14 or maybe 15 in practice, and Vinatieri just completely murdered him. He was a good kicker, but it was very interesting. It was my rookie year, and I had no idea what was going on. And I had just started holding because I kicked in college, so I never held in college. Vinatieri sent me to a holding school with Ken Walter in North Carolina, who was the holder for the Patriots in all those fucking games, right? Yeah, it's a true story. So then I go in there and I'm holding my rookie year. So I've never held before. I got Vinatieri throwing me like 1,000 balls in training camp, just like making me a good holder because I got his entire career right there in my hand. I mean, they drafted me, so I'm definitely going to make the team. So he's got to fucking deal with it. So he was in my like my dorm room, like throwing me balls every night, like figure it the fuck out, basically. Yeah, that's what life was like with Vinatieri, right? So we get through the whole season. Vinatieri gets hurt. They bring in Matt Stover. Matt Stover is a complete different animal than Adam Vinatieri. This dude, he has a full conversation with Matthew, which is himself, I guess, and Jesus before every kick, which is, I guess, God's son. So he would be like, 1, 2, 3, Matthew, come on, Matthew. Like that type of shit would happen before every kick. I swear to God, I ain't never been more freaked out in my life. First time we went out there, he's screaming at himself. I'm like, are you guys ready back there? Like, Jesus Christ.
Are you guys?
Can I circle back for 1 second?
Are you guys
went to
ready back there?
Wait.
Jesus.
You went to Holder School?
Yeah,
like
man.
that's a thing?
Well, it was a guy's house down in North Carolina. His name was Ken Walter. He was the holder for the Patriots for all those gigantic kicks. Vinatieri flew me down there like 2 days after I was drafted. He was like, have you ever held before? I'm like, nah, dog. He was like, well, you're going to Ken Walter in North Carolina in 2 days. I'm like, you got it, man. Ken Walter, he showed me how to fucking hold, what to do, like little drills I could do to get better. And then we went to a Firehouse Subs. I'll never forget it. I tried their hottest hot sauce, and then I hopped on a plane and flew back to Indianapolis.
Okay,
flew back to
key
Pittsburgh.
question. I'm sorry, go ahead, AJ.
Oh, why didn't, was it Jim Sorgi? Was he the backup at the time?
Yeah, Jim Sorgi was the guy who got all the homework from Peyton all week. Yeah.
But why didn't he hold? Usually a backup quarterback that's been there for a while will hold.
No, not anymore, AJ. Thanks for paying attention to the brand. I mean,
Why not?
It's all punters now. It's very rarely anybody else because the punters are with the kickers literally all goddamn day, every day. So all practice, they can work on the timing, the rhythm of it, because it's all happening in like 1.3 seconds. So like the rhythm has to pick up. Back in the day when the backup quarterbacks were doing it, the rhythm wasn't as fast because there wasn't as many explosive guys rushing the edges and shit like that. So nowadays, everything has to get dialed in within milliseconds. So it's a real rhythm, real flow. That's why you see some kickers really get fucked up when their holder changes or their snapper changes because it's all a big. It's like a hop, skip, and a jump.
A holder is gigantic. Like my brother's 2 years older than me in high school. I went to high school with Mike Nugent, and he held for Nugent. And so then my brother graduated, and we had to get a new holder for Nuge. And I talk to Nuge all the time. It's a huge deal to have like a holder that you trust and holds it right.
Hold on, so you guys just call each other Nuge? Like, what up, Nuge?
His name's Nuge. Yeah, Nuge.
Nuge.
He kicks for the Cowboys right now.
He missed one tonight. Not good. Off the right upright. I like the way Mike Nugent hits the ball, though. Nuge. What up, Nuge?
Nuge thought he had a good nickname until he heard about AJ's father-in-law. Which is,
Chopper?
Chopper.
Fucking Chopper and Nuge. Those guys ever meet each other? Chopper and Nuge?
Of course. Nuge was at the house like a week before he signed with Dallas. He knows Chopper well.
Did you get to do the intros? Nuge, Chopper. Chopper, Nuge.
They've known each other for a long time, but yeah, Chopper doesn't need intros, Jerry.
Does Nuge drink beers?
Yeah, of course.
Nuge.
Oh, there's never been a guy named Nuge who didn't.
Nuge is a cool guy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
He's a great dude. I grew up with Nuge, and then I would room with him in college and stuff for bowl games and all that.
He seemed like a great dude. He did.
He hosted me on my official visit.
Was it a hard sell, though? You were definitely going to Ohio State. I mean, you look at you.
Yeah. I was committed. Yeah, he didn't have to sell me. What do you mean? Just go find some Zimas to pick up and drink them.
Let's go, Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah, I think it was at the time. I wasn't really. Maybe I did have some Zima. Maybe Zima was around back then, which it's making a comeback now. Youngsters don't know about Zima. They know about like Mark. I try to explain and say it's like Mike's Hard Lemonade, but different. I guess is that what it is?
It was clear.
By the way, I like all of those. I like all of them. I like Zima.
It tastes great.
Oh, I would put a Zima down right now if I had the opportunity.
I'm straight up with Mike's on a hot day. You've been doing yard work
Mike's
or whatever at the beach, something. But Zima is like, you know what? I would rather have emphysema than.
Wow. You felt good about that though when your brain thought of that.
But nevertheless, do you know that a couple of years ago, this actually happened at a Tigers game? A guy went up to get something for him and his kid. The kid's like 9 years old to drink. And he says to get, what would you like? And the kid says, I'll have a lemonade. So the guy goes to get a beer and a lemonade, and they give him a Mike's Hard, and he hands it to his kid, and not knowing what it was, he had never heard of this thing. They literally called security, who took the guy into custody, and the kid ended up in like foster care for like 2 weeks till they sorted this out. That is a true story.
That kid probably couldn't even take it down. He probably spit it out. How old
He's like, Dad, this tastes terrible.
How old is that kid?
Like he was like 9 years old, and the guy, by the way, he and his wife were college professors from Ann Arbor, and they put the kid in foster care in like some crack den in like Detroit, like took him away from his parents, and that was when I realized reason is dead. Like the most simple, benign, understandable mistake in the history of the world, and this kid was ripped out of his parents' home, and because no one just said, "Hey, dummy, there's booze in that." Oh, Jesus, sorry. Didn't know.
That's on me. That's on me. I thought we were talking about hard lemonade. That's on me.
Yeah,
on me.
yeah. My bad. Didn't know.
Yeah, that's on me.
Yeah. Anyway, real quick.
That's why you don't have kids, by the way, just for future reference. Another reason why you don't have kids.
Well, and if you're going to corrupt your kids, here's my advice. Don't do it in front of 40,000 people at $8 a pop.
Yeah,
you know, if you're really determined to turn your kid into a child alcoholic, there's ways to do that without doing it in
AJ,
public.
how do you do it with your kid? Do you there was a video on the internet last week of a West Virginia older person teaching what looked to be a child how to shotgun a beer. And I don't think the kid took it down, so I think it was a little bit of a disappointment for the older gentleman. But I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like that's an interesting situation. Have you got it? How old are your kids?
7, 5, almost 2, and 6 months.
Oh, so they're nowhere near the age where like kids will start fucking around.
But they do. Like my son, who is almost 2. Like we're always driving around the yard and choppers with us, smoking cigars and drinking beer usually. And my son, who's almost 2, he'll grab it out of the cup holder from Chopper and just start drinking Coors Light, whatever Chopper has at the time. And Chopper's like, "I'll get you some, better get it." And he likes it.
AJ, I don't think this is good for your parenting brain.
He'll have like a sip of it, and then I would never try to feed it to him, and then I take it from him when he looks like he likes it too much. But it's like the
Chopper's so proud. I bet you Chopper's so
doesn't care.
proud.
It's like this whole thing. Like I've been around guys to where they're scared to like they're playing golf and they're smoking a cigar. They'll like put the cigar out if they know their kids are going to be at the turn or something, and they want to like hide it. And I definitely don't think you should like when you hide stuff and you make it look like that. I feel like it puts this stigma on it where a kid's going to say, "Oh, when I'm definitely when I get alone and I find something, I'm going to try all of it," because it's like this weird stigma.
Although I would suggest just close the laptop if you're watching porn. Just, you know what I mean? Like, grandpa drinking a beer, that's one thing. I would also suggest, by the way, if Chopper's going to drink around the kids, drink the worst swill in the world. Like my dad let me take sips of his signature brand, which was, and this is such a throwback, Carling's Black Label. Oh. That stuff was like raw sewage. Like a sip of that, I'm like, Dad, I'm never going to drink beer in my whole life.
One of my friend's kids came home and he had like a bottle of vodka or something on him, and his dad wasn't home. It was just the mom. Dad gets home, here's the story, wakes him up at like 4 a.m. and makes him drink an entire glass of like the worst tasting, like I forget the shit he said. It was some sort of alcohol that was just like a full nightmare. And he said if you don't finish it in like an hour, like you're grounded for like a year or something like that. And the kid just puked the entire next day.
Oh,
yeah. Was so sick. And he was like, "You think you're fucking cool drinking, huh? It's terrible. Don't ever do it again." It was like, "How'd it work out?" He was like, "The kid hasn't drank since." I'm like, I don't know if like that's the proper way to parent, but I know it probably is an efficient way. It's probably an efficient way to either death or a kid that doesn't drink alcohol anymore.
Yeah, if the kid doesn't die, there's a good chance he's not going to drink that brand of booze again. He'll just switch to something else.
What's that shit that I went through? You guys know what it is. It's like
meth.
No, never. I ain't never done meth. Well, actually, I did because I was in the substance abuse.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
It's the potpourri. It's the spice. That's basically meth.
Oh yeah.
That's like homemade. It gave me a headache there for a little while. I didn't like it. It was not good. It was that. It was the drink that everybody drinks and calls SoCo and lime. I cannot touch it.
Oh, yeah.
Four Loko. We just had a conversation earlier. I tried to become, with my friend in Pittsburgh, the Nucky, what's his name? Nucky Thompson of Four Loko in Pittsburgh whenever they stopped selling that shit. I wanted them to go buy all the pallets of Four Loko that was still out there and then become a one-stop shop for Four Loko because all my friends back in Pittsburgh loved it. Like, they loved it. And then it started killing people, and we're like, oh, we should probably not do this business.
Now that you mention it, Four Loko burned white hot for like, what would you say, a year maybe?
I don't know. It was huge.
18 months. Yeah. And it was pretty much grain alcohol with like pixie
caffeine,
sticks.
Yeah. It was like 2 to 4 coffees, like a 6-pack of beer, and something else, like some sort of sucrose. And it was just like people were just doming it to their heads and just see you later. Good night. Go have a good one out there. Good luck getting back. That's what Four Loko did to people.
Back in the day when I was like 20, 22, I worked at a place that a lot of people like in their 40s. And cocaine was kind of cool and trendy still. It was like the sexy thing to do. And all you needed to do to never want to get into that was hang out with that group for a while. Like, it's the lifestyle that sucks about it. It's the lying. It's 8 people going into a bedroom at a party and then coming out and just being insufferable, like not shutting up, and you just didn't want to hang out with them. And I just said, like, this will never be me. First of all, they're burning $100 bills just to get high. I mean, it's incredibly expensive. And I was like, I can have a glass of wine with my mom. Like, I don't need to hang out with these clowns to get high on Coke. And it's too bad because Coke is amazing if it wasn't for the rest of that stuff.
What just happened there? Like, I feel like we really went on a real circle there, all the way ending with you saying Coke is amazing.
It is.
Except
What's
for,
amazing about it, Jerry? What's
except for this whole
Except
thing
it's
I just laid out.
No, it would feel great were it not for all the other things, plus the addictive quality of it, plus how frigging expensive it is.
You know what? You ever seen Cocaine Cowboys?
$3 bottle of Trader Joe's wine, and I'm plenty happy. Thanks.
Hey, you ever seen Cocaine Cowboys?
Of course, I've seen that a million times. Billy Corbin. I had that dude on my podcast that did that.
Oh my God! Of course. That's like my favorite documentary of all time.
It's mine by big time. Definitely my favorite.
Man,
I gotta plead ignorance, fellas.
What?
I've not seen it.
Jerry, two dudes from two Americans. One guy from Florida who was like a redneck guy who just kind of flew planes, and one guy from New York basically built Miami. They created Miami in a roundabout way.
Yep, money on it was like a retirement community before that, and then all of a sudden skyscrapers are going up. They're laundering all their money through there. It's amazing.
Banks, all their money was going through like numerous banks. They had enough money for numerous banks to open up for their money. Like they were hiding money everywhere. It was just like, you should watch it. It's a really crazy documentary. There's one guy who's in the movie who's just a cold-blooded killer, just a murderer, and he's like just doing an interview like I would just walk in there and shoot their whole family. Yeah, like just like it was nothing, like no big deal. See you later.
It's impossible to wrap your brain around it now, but yeah, there was a time when it was considered cool. It was like sexy.
So much money to be made. They were just buying places to dig money. It's so much money. So much cocaine being sold, AJ. So you met that motherfucker. How? How'd you just send him a tweet?
No, I met him through Skype, but yeah, I've had him on maybe twice. He did the documentary on Dada. Remember Dada 5000, the backyard brawler?
Yeah.
He did that as well. Yeah, I don't know how I got in contact with him, but he's like a super high energy, like fun dude. Have him on the show, man. You guys would vibe really well, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'll just text him. AJ.
Billy Corbin. He's a big Miami fan. He did the 30 for 30 on the U as well.
Yeah. I'll just text him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of, has Aaron Rodgers said anything to me? We're friends, I thought he goes on Conan show.
He's been texting you and trying to FaceTime, and he said, no, you're not picking up.
No, he's on Conan, He's doing this Conan show, and I'm just like, hey, Aaron, listen, very pro Aaron Rodgers interview waiting, a good one. It'll be a good one. I can't wait. I seen that interview where he was walking on the beach with a guitar with that lady. And that's when I immediately became a fan. I'm like, this guy just lives, man.
Don't bring that one up if you talk to him on your show.
Okay, swing and a miss on that one. That was going to be
that was a long time ago. That one was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was going to be lead off, though, for real. Because that was when I was really like, oh, Aaron Rodgers gives no fucks. This guy don't give no damn.
Hey, speaking of that, how about Vontaze Burfict today?
Bro, see you later. That was all bullshit, though.
He's a treasure.
The greatest ejection after the ref. Like it's questionable whether he knew the ref was there when he kind of swiped his arm off of him. But the walkout, double birds to the crowd. Then he high-fived somebody on the way out.
Isn't there supposed to be like an escalating scale of punishments? And how does Vontaze Burfict not every time he gets tossed out turn into 2 games, 3 games? It's like he's
the perfect heel.
living off of a free pass.
Listen, he's the perfect heel. He is just a heel. He's an NFL heel. That's what he is. He's hated by damn near everybody, it seems like. It used to be just the Steelers that really hated him, like the Steelers fan base that hated him the most. But now it's very, it's hard to find anybody that speaks very good of him, except for his teammates. His teammates fucking love him. Kevin Huber was in here this past offseason, or in the preseason, after he did the silky behind the back play. And he said his locker's by Vontaze and he loves him. And I'm like, I bet you he's a guy you'd love to have on your team and everybody else hates. But goddamn, I thought that was some bullshit he got kicked out today. I thought that was some bullshit.
His locker was directly next to mine. He's a super generous, good dude, but he plays a certain way, man. He does. He really He's
Bro,
I think I said it
imagine
on
having
here.
that
It's a
switch.
shame. It's a shame he's such a great player that all this other stuff overshadows his great play.
Imagine having that switch, though. Just being able to go from like super good guy who's friendly with everybody, good teammate, to just absolute zero fucks given. I'm doing whatever I want out. Luke Kuechly has that same goddamn switch. It's just in a little bit of a different way. He's like super quiet, calm, collected, and then he gets on a football field and he loses his fucking mind. It's next level shit. It's just that switch is impressive to me. The people that can do it.
Sure, but the major difference is Luke Kuechly isn't drawing personal foul flags.
No,
all
I'm talking
the time
about
that kill his team.
I'm just saying the level of switchability that they have. The level
he's not drawing flags like that, Pat.
I've got you, but like prime example. The Cincy.
Wait a minute. I was talking about how the switch is able to flip from two different humans. Like Vontez is loved by everybody that knows him, but everybody else hates him. Like that's a hell of a switch to be able to switch from everybody to nobody. Like that's an interesting situation. Luke Kuechly goes from 0 to 10,000. Same switch. That's the type of I'm talking about their switchability, like how big their switch is going. They got big old switches. They're switching.
Okay, but say take Burfict that playoff game a couple of years ago against Pittsburgh. When, I mean, to me, that was a pure kill shot on Antonio Brown. And some people say, no. I mean, Deion Sanders was trying to excuse it. He wasn't trying to do it or whatever. The net result is the same. He's doing Vontez perfect things. And he kept a drive alive. And he put his team in a position to lose. Like, if you're a teammate of a guy and you love the enthusiasm and you love the personality, but his dumbassery is costing you 15 yards. Like, what do you do about that?
Oh. Well, you know what he did with that, how that game ended. So I was on the team at the time. What he did was bail out Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill fumbled. People forget about that going in the Pittsburgh territory. Ryan Shazier made a great play and stripped Jeremy Hill because of that crazy, like 30 yards in penalties. It overshadowed that gigantic fumble that Jeremy had.
How about that, Jerry?
Yeah, I knew you were there. I needed that
you know what,
first-person account.
That's a real thing, though, because until you mentioned it, I never even thought about like that being very upsetting as a teammate, being like, God damn it. But that same type of shit is why you love them, though, I think. So it's like a double. It's like you got to take it. You just got to.
Yeah, Vontez probably he honestly. He was born like 40 years too late. If he was playing in the 70s, you'd be talking about him like Dick Butkus and all these guys. You don't come across the middle against me, like that kind of thing.
Sure, and you know what? I will compare him then, especially since you like him, I will compare him to a guy that I would friggin' take a bullet for, Rodney Harrison, who led the league every year in personal foul penalties and unnecessary roughness. But like you said, Pat, when he was on your team,
love him.
You wanted that guy. Like, not just that he was a sack machine and he could make interceptions, but would dish out like just, to me, clean, totally abusive hits.
He's at the biggest show, right, in football. He's on the biggest show in football.
He's chopping it up with Tony Dungy and Dan Patrick every Sunday night.
I'll tell you what, very interesting conversation out of them. I kind of enjoy listening to hearing what's going to come out. Because who knows? Some days they're on some people. Some days they're an entertaining little group there. The Dan, Tony, and Rodney. That's an entertaining group. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and Harrison landed that gig right out of retirement. Like there was no
learning
process. There was no minor leagues. Like they just threw him on the most highly rated network show period of any kind, and I love him on that. Now, I want to get to Dungy in a second, but to what we were talking about, the personal fouls thing, did you guys see the Chargers at Jacksonville?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Marquise Lee thinks he drew a flag in the end zone, so he does, and I can only describe it as a little kid saying to another kid, I drew a flag, but he didn't. Like, it was not a personal foul.
Can you do the dance? Can you do that dance, Jared?
I couldn't do it justice, but I'll try. I'll absolutely try.
Look at that shirt he's got on, Pat.
The Hawkcast shirt.
I got the Hawkcast. I was on there. I'm doing it sitting down, but he was like,
oh, arms in the air, though. His arms were.
Exactly. So he gets 15 yards, takes his team that's trailing by 3 out of field goal range. Then in overtime, Phillip Rivers, and this will shock you. I hope you're sitting down. Phillip Rivers throws a bad interception to AJ Boye, who returns it to the 2. Wow. So now it's first and goal in the 2. And Alvin Colvin. Anyway,
5.5 point spread, Jerry.
Exactly. He draws a taunting foul. Now, and so now they're out of field goal range, and Pat, they were on their like third string long snapper at that point.
Yeah.
And so the ball, basically, it was a wiffle ball that barely made it maybe 3 feet over the crossbar from short range. And I'm like, what? How as a coach do you like allow guys to take the field that are that frigging stupid? How do you forgive them of that? Because that's not balling out and you commit a penalty. That's not being too aggressive. That's just costing everybody else on the team.
They're costing me, Jerry. They are costing me. Let me tell you why. So whenever they get that interception down to the 2-yard line, and then old buddy gets a penalty for excessively celebrating in the eyes of one ref, okay? Then they move it back. When they're on the 2 there, they're going to hand that fucking ball off, and they're going to score 6 points, Jerry. They're going to score 6 points at that point. They're going to fall into the end zone at some point here in the next 3 plays. Let's get this. Let's not put it in the kicker's hands. Let's just go ahead and score a tutty. Then everybody that betted on them, because they are the lock of the year so far, to cover 5.5, it doesn't happen because the dance, do your dance, too much of it. Instead, field goal to win, which is great for the brand. Good for Josh Lambo. Got cut by the Chargers just a few months ago, and now he buries them with a game-tying and a game-winning field goal. Happy for him, but God damn it, that ball should have been at the 2, and we should have covered. We should have covered. I had a great day other than that. I was looking for a clean slate. When I'm gambling, there's only one app I need on the side, and that's Sports Action. It is the best app in the world for sports bettors, and it's not even close. Seriously, download it right now if you haven't already, AJ.
I already have it, Pat.
Wow. Jerry?
Got it. Had it from day one.
Wow.
How do you not?
Huh. That's amazing, because me too. You can track your bets in real time, get live odds for dozens of books, including halftime lines, plus the in-game live lines. Sports Action is free to download on iOS and Android, and I promise it'll be your new favorite app if you bet on sports. Now listen, we're not saying this is for everybody, but if you're a sports bettor, you need the Sports Action app. Get a 1-week free trial of the Pro subscription, which has a ton of features like parlay tracking, hedge opportunities, and more. Just click the link at download Sports Action right now. What an incredible, because they have these little green dots, okay, next to your bets. That means you're winning. Then they have these red dots, you see, that some of those green dots become, and that's like oh, fuck. And some of them just hit like a fucking tidal wave where your whole screen just goes green to red and then back to green. It literally keeps track of everything. It's impossible. If you got a little bit of money on everything, keep track of all of it. One-stop spot.
And how's your weekend going? A lot of green?
A lot of green this weekend. I had a good weekend. I just won. Patriots was the easiest bet in history. It was like over-under on the Patriots scoring 26.5 points. I'm like, over, cuz? Are we talking about this for real? It is over, for sure. And I didn't know it was a real bet until I just won it. I feel pretty good about it. I feel like I'm starting to understand sports betting, by the way. Not every bet's a good bet. Guys,
no, they're all good. They're all good. Just keep making them. Don't even think.
Not every game is lined like for you to actually try to bet and win it. Some games are just like, you shouldn't bet on this game. Like I'm learning now slowly, because at the beginning I was all fucking in, Jerry. I was all in. Every game I was going to pick. It was a fun little thing, just like a boom, 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 boom. And then I started losing and I was like, fuck me, this sucks. I should try to figure this out a little bit. And then I've been reading into it a little bit. And I interviewed Stu Feiner on my show last week, who had an entire business about it. And he has an interesting theory and an interesting style. So I've tried to look into it a little bit, Jerry. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's fun to dabble. Yeah, it's great to be an expert. What you don't want to be is in between there. You don't want to be the guy who thinks he's smart, but isn't. You don't want to be it's the sports equivalent of the guy who's taken a weekend in Vegas and on the flight out is reading a book about how to play blackjack.
I did that for craps. It worked. Listen, I did that for. I completely disagree with almost everything you just said, Jerry. It doesn't matter when you learn it. It's just that you learn it. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of knowledge is a good thing. A little bit of knowledge is a good thing. In between is the danger zone where you're smarter than you think you are. That's all I'm saying.
No, you're not as smart as you think you are. You mean?
Yeah, exactly. You think you're smart, but you're really not. If you don't understand the game, bet small, have fun.
So Portnoy gambles at an incredible rate, right? And I was with him for this Barstool tailgate show. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I've never sports betted before. I would like to sports bet with you, like almost as a child asking like a mentor. And he was like, you don't want to bet with me. I stink. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, he was on like some miraculous run of L's straight, like without even accidentally winning one. Like he was just on this miraculous L. But then he got hot. And I watched him experience a heater. And I was like, oh my God, that guy is living large right now. Like the losses are just average day, You're in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, man, I lost a couple $100, right? I lost a couple $100, but I'm going to go about my day. But when you win, Jerry, you feel like a fucking super genius. You feel like you're smarter than Las Vegas, Jerry.
Right. And that's what's great about this, like the kind of sites that we're talking about, because you can do that. You just got to bet within your means. You have fun. It gives you rooting interest. I'm just talking about the guys that...
You sound like one of those commercials on the TV. If you have a gambling problem, you should call blah, 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 blah. Listen, if you're listening to this show and you're going to be a dumbass and bet too much money and put yourself at risk, stop it. Like, stop being a dickhead because you're ruining gambling for the rest of us who just like to have a good time. Right, AJ?
Yeah, you're going to be like Carton from Boomer and Carton, who's going to probably serve some jail time. He was trying to cover up his gambling debt allegedly by running some Ponzi ticket scheme.
Right. And then
what?
Oh yeah, Carton from you don't know this?
What's a Carton?
It's Craig Carton. He's on with Boomer Esiason on WFAN in New York. So a few years ago, he literally got taken out of his house in handcuffs by the FBI because he was running ticket scams to the point of I think $2.3 million or something. He was just ripping people off with phony tickets. And he recently came out this week and finally spoke about it and said, this is really terrible. I mean, I have to sell my house. I have kids. I've got a family. They support me. I had the greatest job in the world. Well, okay, but you're the one who threw it away. Like, no one took it from you. You're the one you ripped off other people to pay off your gambling debt.
How long did he go to jail for?
This is all. It hasn't gone to trial yet, but the FBI doesn't mess around. They will nail him because it's all a paper trail. You can't defeat the FBI when it comes to these kind of white collar crimes.
Jerry, I want you to close your eyes and dream with me for a minute. You too, AJ.
Okay.
I had this thought of this video series that I really wanted to run with. It was going to be called Yachts and Thoughts to Two Hots in a Cot, where I went and chatted with all the notorious Ponzi schemers who lived the lifestyle of the rich and famous, and then now they're just in jail, either fucking or getting fucked, one or the other at the moment. And that's why it would be called Yachts and Thoughts to Two Hots in a Cot, be referencing their jail time. And like that guy would be awesome to talk to, that Carton guy.
Sure.
Tim Durham's a guy from Indiana, I guess. It was like one of the largest Ponzi schemes on earth. That dude from Miami, that dude that did the University of Miami shit, guy was having yacht parties and shit with the Canes back in the day. Like them people. I think that'd be good. Imagine the lives those dudes were living with all that fake ass
what about
phony money.
The biggest ever with Bernie Madoff? What about him?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that would be incredible. Yeah. Like, imagine like going to bed they went to sleep every night, like completely content that this could all come crashing down at any moment. That's insane to me. It's absolutely insane to me.
You just have, you hope that you die before it all comes to a head, I guess. That's the thing with a Ponzi scheme. There's no end game.
Yeah.
I don't
Pat,
fully
the guy
understand
from, the guy that DiCaprio played in Wolf of Wall Street.
Jordan Belfort. Let me tell you about Jordan Belfort. I sent Jordan Belfort a tweet, try to get an AJ Hawk move, try to get him as a guest on my show. Hey, Jordan, I think people would enjoy a conversation between us. Would love to have you on the show because I'm a big fan. I get a message from his support team, his social media support team. He has 98,000 followers. The Wolf of Wall Street needs to have a social media support team for 98,000 followers? What are we doing? What's going on with the Wolf of Wall Street? Is it all a Fugazi? This is a guy that refused to go to jail to keep working, keep hustling. And he can't run his own Twitter? So I was a little bummed out, but I sent an email. To his service team. And I hope he comes on my show. I can't wait to talk to him. But he ran like one of the best in the history, huh? What a life that guy lived.
Friggin' penny stocks. And just doing big rails of blow off the butts of $500 a night call girls and went from nothing to that empire and then back to nothing. Like doing like little hotel ballrooms, with a video presentation to like hawk his method of making yourself rich or whatever. Like that shit fascinates me. You do that as like a separate podcast or a video series or a documentary series on Netflix. People will watch that.
AJ,
I will.
AJ, you got Netflix's number? Like I'll just text them.
Yeah, check them out. Yeah, they don't have enough content. They need your stuff out there.
I watched some fucked up shit on Netflix. Those documentaries are out of control, bro.
Yeah, that's all. I scan their documentary section all the time to see if there's anything new. But Jordan Belfort, the problem with him,
he's got a social media support team. Yeah, that's the problem.
That's
with him.
Problem number one. But if he makes whatever money he makes, he still owes a ton back. So he's not allowed to keep the proceeds he gets from these. He wrote a book. I know I actually downloaded his book, but he's reading it. And he has that accent as well, and it's I'm struggling through it so far because it's like a self-help pump-up sales book. It's not a telling stories, at least yet, about what he did. So I have a hard time getting through the book.
So it's all just that kind of dreck, that like, achieve your goals, set your goals, work hard, believe in yourself. Like, okay, it's the oldest cliche in the world, but if you need self-help, then you're sort of defeating the
purpose. And the only reason why you're doing it is for a little likey. Subscribe.
It's basically a pump-up speech that Pat and I would love to get before games. That's what his book is.
Hey, did you see Drew Brees is yesterday? Got him that big win in Buffalo.
He does that normal thing, right, where they circle around him and he does like whatever.
No, he did the Be the Saints speech today. It was pretty inspiring. I enjoyed it. Oh, Drew Brees pumping up the crowd. Didn't need any dubs. It's good.
and by the way, Tampa Bay today, no pump-up speech from Jameis Winston. No, I'm going to eat the W. And what did they do? They got the W. Like, at that point, if you're Winston, don't you say, maybe my stupid speeches don't directly equate to wins?
Well, it was Fitzpatrick that got the win for him. The question is, in the locker room, did Fitzpatrick eat a dub? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, the question is, what the fuck is Ryan Fitzpatrick? He might be one of the most interesting humans on earth, bro. He's picked up so many millions of dollars for so many different teams, being their starter for set, and everybody likes him. Like, I don't know if there's anybody that doesn't like, I feel like he's a very likable human. He's played on a lot of teams, made massive amounts of money, and is a genius, right? Isn't he a fucking genius?
He went to Harvard, but I don't know that necessarily means
he got a 50 on the Wonderlic, didn't he? Didn't he get a 50 on the Wonderlic?
Wasn't there a punter from Harvard that got a 50 on the Wonderlic?
I don't know. I like it, though.
I'm not sure that he was one of them.
Does that make you a genius if you get a 50?
I'll tell you what. Do you know what you got, AJ?
Well, 51, I think. I have no idea what I got. I think I quit halfway through because it was so stupid.
That's the most hilarious answer I've ever heard in my life. Is that true? Did you really do that?
No, I didn't quit, but I mean, I mailed it in the last half of the test.
It was only a 15-minute test.
And that's 14 minutes too long.
What?
Fitzpatrick scored a 48 out of 50.
He scored a 48 out of 50. Yeah, I know you got it. Thank you.
He probably is a genius, and he has the patience to sit through all those dumb questions.
That's what Ben Watson from the Saints got, 48 out of 50, which I know is the third highest total ever. So I don't know who's gotten the perfect.
How do those leak out? Those aren't, the results are not supposed to leak out because it always comes out when a guy gets really low. They leak out somehow.
Yeah,
sure.
Vince
And here's
Young,
my beef
what
with
get?
that.
What Vince Young get? Like a 4? 6. He's got a 6 or something.
Yeah. Okay. And
love
here's my
Vince Young,
case,
by the way, just for future reference. One of the best college football games of all time, and he had a cheesecake addiction issue. Okay, Cheesecake Factory addiction. Okay, Cuzzo. Just living out there, taking his shoulder pads off, throwing them in his stance. Anyway, sorry about that, Jerry. Go ahead.
No. Why are the Wonderlic tests secret? Like, okay, you can put them, give them as much weight or as little weight as you want to, but it's a quantified thing to analyze a guy. And you know it, but we know his 40 time, we'll know his 3-cone drill. If he can't do enough reps in the bench, we know about that. But this one thing,
yeah, but you won't know about his
secret.
drug test though either. You won't know about his drug test
At the combine. Do they take a drug test and then those results become no? I guess what I'm just saying is the Wonderlic is it is a measurement. It's a tool. It's you can say it's all BS, and that's fine. That's up to you. But why does that have to be kept secret? But a guy who's really slow in the 40-yard dash, we all know about that. It's kind of a rhetorical question. I don't need an answer. I just
because they don't. When you watch them run the 40, people will tune in to watch. People are not tuning in to watch you take a test.
Hold on. Jerry, that was hilarious. You just told AJ not to answer right there before you said it's a rhetorical question. He said it's a rhetorical question. No need to answer.
I'm giving you an answer because Jerry took a shot at me saying, you could say it's not worth anything, but that's your opinion.
He did. I heard it in there.
Look, all right, when anyone's Wonderlic tests are revealed, you always hear the same thing. Quarterback with a low result. Well, Donovan McNabb had a low result. He had the lowest in his graduating class, and he had the best career out of all of them. Okay, but is that a reason why I shouldn't know that he had a really lousy test, or AJ Hawk bailed after a couple of questions?
I took mine hungover one morning. So we did it after my junior year. We did it my junior year. So the seniors were doing their pro day or whatever, and it was the first year that the juniors were allowed to take their measure. We were allowed to get measured height. We got our measure weight, and then we took the Wonderlic. And I had no idea what was happening. I had no clue. I thought I was just getting a height and weight. I was like, cool, I'll get dehydrated first of all. I'll get dehydrated. I'll go get pretty intoxicated, and I'll do this whole thing here. So I weighed in good, got a height good, and then they sent us into a room, and they're like, now you will be taking your Wonderlic. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I probably should have thought about this a little bit. But it worked better, I think, because if you overthink it, you kill yourself, and if you can't read, you're fucked. It's literally just if you just go in there with the mindset that you're all right. I feel like it's all a confidence test more than anything. I really do believe that. Because the questions are so fucking basic, you just second guess yourself. It's like, redheads like chocolate. Charlie has red hair. Charlie likes chocolate. Is this true 100% of the time? Some of the time? Most of the that was one of the questions. And I was sitting, my roommate, his name is Reed, and the first time he introduced himself to the team, he spelled it R-E-D. He was a real smart kid, but he had red fucking hair, and he spelled his name red, right? So we all got to that question at the same time. He was my roommate. We all got that question at the same time. We all started laughing. Red, Charlie's a fucking Reed. We started talking about it. In the middle, I was like, this is on everybody's fucking test, this question. That was just one of the questions. And I got a 30-something on it, a pretty good score. But I couldn't get through. There were some long-ass questions. I was like, I don't read good enough. My advanced reader level is too low to get through it. It was all just a confidence thing. The fact that AJ quit on it, it was a 15-minute test that I was very hungover in the middle of, and I got through it as an entertainment value. AJ probably just threw the thing away, and now he's a fucking first round. When were you drafted?
Oh, yeah, first round.
Oh, yeah. No big deal.
There you go.
First round draft pick.
I didn't quit. I did not quit the test. I finished the test. I would say it was just probably when I took my ACT, the last half, I mailed it in.
Right. You just started scribbling in the little bubbles.
What did you have to get?
Random, making patterns.
What did you have to get for the SAT?
I didn't take the SAT. I just took the ACT.
Did you have a score that you had to get?
I think at the time you had to get a 17 to be eligible. And
what is it? What do you get for signing your name up on the ACT? I took the SAT.
I don't think you get anything for your name.
I think you're wrong. I think you're probably wrong. Was there a big, long, elaborate sign up for it where you had to blow in a bunch of bubbles and shit like the SAT?
I have no idea. It was 15 years ago. I don't know. I have no idea what I got on the Wonderlic either.
Remember, no concussions.
They don't present you your results on your Wonderlic.
Did it ever come up? Did you ever have a conversation with the Packers front office about what they thought, how they evaluated you or whatever?
Never once. I think they looked at you and they say, "Hey, do you have common sense? Okay, cool. You can play here. That's all that matters. Do you have self-awareness and common sense? Okay, cool. I don't care what your math grades are on the Wonderlic.
What else are you going to say about yourself? Are you attractive, have self-awareness, and have common sense? You can play here. Like, how many other questions did they ask you, AJ?
Are you a people person?
Are you incredibly funny? Are you handsome? Do you have common sense?
How's your hair? How's your hair game?
You know how I would respond? I'd say, "How would that help me as a football player, sir?" And they'd say, "Good job. Come on board."
Oh, wow. So everything's a test, cuz.
Yeah, everything's a test, Pat. You know that.
AJ, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Bro,
I would be a Packers tree.
Bill
I would be a
Polian,
linebacker.
Bill Polian used to shake my hand and then like give me a full pat down almost to see how fat I was whenever I come back to like sprints and shit, like OTAs. I'd come back and he would like that was never confirmed, but it sure felt like that's what he was like. I felt like
Definitely. He was doing that for sure.
Yeah, he was giving me like a pat, like, "Oh, let's see how hard this fucker went this offseason. Bang, bang.
Yeah.
Quick.
They call that pulling a Kevin Spacey.
Yikes.
Ooh.
Yikes. I was an adult and I consented. So
Oh, I'm glad you brought up Bill Polian because I wanted to get into your boy Tony Dungy, who said on Dan
Mike.
Patrick's show this week that he spilled the beans. Like, Dungy didn't know he was talking into a live microphone, and he said that when he was out for the Peyton Manning statue ceremony, that Polian told him that basically that it's all in Andrew Luck's head.
Jim Irsay or Polian?
There was a quote from him from Polian saying that sports is played on a field that is 4 inches between
wide.
your ears.
Yeah, it's Irsay.
I'm sorry. Am I saying? You're right. My bad.
So Dungy claims that Irsay told him that?
Irsay told, yeah.
Is that why? That's why Andrew Luck's somewhere in the Eastern Bloc getting some kind of stem cell?
He's in Europe right now. Yeah, doing rehab. They say all the local news. Well, ESPN just caught onto it today, I guess, or yesterday. They just caught onto it. I guess that decision was made a little while ago. Interesting situation.
Yeah. Now, the thing about the between your ears, Irsay did say that in public, but Dungy, talking into a live mic when he thought he was on break, said, "Oh yeah, he's saying that he just thinks it's all in his head." Like, did
he really think he was on break and they went live?
Hot mic. So what happens is Dan Patrick's on TV and on radio, and they always go to break, but they always have an extra TV shot before the radio comes back. And I think it was during that, I'm assuming, because they always get caught up in some conversation.
Right.
It's an interesting little strategy.
Oh, hell yeah. Picture your Andrew Luck. Like, you're saying, okay, so the owner has no faith in me, basically thinks I'm jaking it. I mean, I don't know how else you express that when he's saying it's in your head.
Jake? What is that?
Like just
jaking it. You know.
Yeah, like not making the effort.
It's the cousin of Jack. So when you're jacking it, and then when you're jaking it, they're cousins.
When you're Gerarding it.
Yeah. You're always Gerard.
Maybe that's just an old state worker expression. I mean, but it just basically means
some guy named Jake fucked up hard back in the day.
Yeah. You're goofing off. You're not trying to get out on the field, and that they thought he'd be ready, and that's why they didn't do anything about the backup situation until the season already began, and they picked up Brissett, who, by the way, played his ass off again today.
He's a fucking player, bro. Jacoby Brissett is a fucking player.
2 touchdowns over 60 yards. The one he threw to Moncrief was a friggin' dime. It was a laser-guided, perfectly placed ball right in his hands. And now if I'm Luck, I'm going, do I want to play for this organization? I know I'm making a lot of money here, but the owner thinks I'm just cashing a paycheck and not playing on purpose. That's a mess, and I think that's heading towards a cliff right now.
It's very interesting around here because every other day there's another article about like the background story about what needs to happen and who's doing what to what. It's insane to think about. I have been saying though since the very beginning that he looked thin, right? And rehab is all about building up your muscle. building your muscle back up and building things up. So I have no idea what is happening behind closed doors, but he looked thin for a long time. He's been thin.
It's pretty simple, Pat. If your right shoulder and arm doesn't work, you cannot lift your upper body.
Nope. It's just between his ears, AJ. Yeah, what I said. If he somehow believed in himself,
you don't have to get a 50 on the Wonderlic to figure that one out.
I feel like you could probably do something, though, don't you think?
Your left arm, yeah, and I forget the term, but yeah, like I tore my pec. I did a bunch of stuff with my left arm, hoping it would transference or whatever I think it's called.
Yeah, but for how long?
However long you're hurt. What do you mean?
Yeah, but like I think that's the big thing is like what has happened is like the projection of whenever Drew Brees has got his done and things like that, comparables. I think this has gone longer than what people thought it was going to be. Does that make sense? So I think it's like
is Irsay claiming that he's okay, but he can't get through saying, hey, you're going to have some pain, especially early on. You just can't fight through that pain. You're not going to injure yourself more.
I have no idea. I have no clue. Yeah. But I do know that there's a lot of disconnect happening in that office right now because, he's going to Europe. That shit's pretty wild right in the middle of the season. Like, he's the highest paid player on the team by far, and he's not even in the building. Like, it's just an interesting situation. Like, Jacoby's a hell of a player. It'd be cool probably to have Andrew Luck helping him. That would be a pretty cool thing if for the team. It'd be good. That team, they lost to the Steelers. Great kick by Boswell, by the way, who bounced back after getting one blocked and a miss, then hits a game winner. But God damn it sucked as a Colts fan, which is a nightmare. By the way, being a fan, I don't know how these motherfuckers do it. But I think Jacoby's really, really good. I like him. But I have no clue what the Colts are going to do in the future. Who knows?
Oh, that would have been – I know if that had gone to overtime, Brissett would have found a way to win that.
I'm him, convinced. Man.
But their defense just kept giving up third down conversions, and then Antonio Brown catches a huge ball, and it was a frustrating loss when you're rooting for Brissett and weirdly enough rooting for Indy. Like you don't want to ever have to rely on that defense ever.
That's how they've been built though. Since Peyton was there, you spend a bunch of money to have Peyton in the stars on offense to where you try to find a way to go a little cheap on D, and that's kind of been their MO for years.
So the deal was with Polian is you go big on offense, you got Peyton, let's get a lead, and then we'll get two pass rushers. So then when other teams have to pass the ball, we got these two maniacs, 93 and 98, Mathis and Freeney coming off the edge. And that was like a pretty good little plan Napoleon had, but it only made one Super Bowl though. So it's like it was an interesting theory. And now they have so much money in that Jacoby is still under rookie contract, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's still got another year on it after this.
Man, he is going to be a very, very expensive person after this season, I think, because he is playing. He's got leadership. He's only been there for fucking 9 weeks. He's like calling team up, calling huddles up, like yelling at people, put people in their place, which I respect. You have to do. If people are fucking up, you have to let them know. I like what he's doing. He's a player, man. Real player.
Yeah. But you can't see them.
And Bill Parcells texts him.
Yeah, you can't see them making this switch, though, can you?
I don't know, man. I have no clue. Going to Europe, bro, in the middle of the season?
Well, that's what Manning did. That's what Peyton did.
Well, what else is he going to do, Pat? He can't hang around the facility and not be healthy. He's got to exhaust every option to get healthy.
What an answer. What a fucking spin zone right there.
If he's a team guy, the best thing he can do for the team is get himself healthy.
Wow. Europe?
What do you think Chuck Pagano said when he told him he was going to Europe?
Oh, Chuck Pagano. Listen, Andrew, we just need you to get healthy. Whatever's best for you, whatever's best for Andrew Luck and your family, your kids, your ladies, your friends, that's good for the team. That's good for you. If this is what you think is good for you, let's do it. If this is what you really want to do, if this is you've thought it through, you've thought this is maybe there's some side effects, but if you've thought it through and you said this is what I want to do, this is what we're going to do. Be a lot of questions, though. It'd be a lot of questions about things that have you thought about, and then it would come to the conclusion of, but okay, sounds good at the end of that.
Yeah. Well, it's what happened with Peyton, that there was some things that he could get in Europe that aren't legal here, and he wasn't working for any team. He was like a free agent, in a nutshell. I don't know. Somewhere I'm going to draw that line. Like if I'm a GM, Europe maybe, but what if it's like I'm going to China.
Bro.
I'm going
like
to
Dallas
the
Buyers
outback.
North Korea, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to the outback of Australia, and I'm going to meet with an Aboriginal, medicine man.
What drugs are they
whatever.
getting? What drugs are they in Europe?
I think a lot of it is legal here now. Like just stem cell, you can get here in America, and it's good.
What does it
But
do?
There's a thing called Regenikine that people go get. It's something they spin your blood, they heat it up, they shoot it back in. It's supposed to help with inflammation and different things.
I think you
like
can do that in New York now. Well,
yeah, there's PRP. It's the same thing. They spin it, but this one, I guess there's one that's not FDA approved in America where they heat it up, I think, and it put it back. That's like what gives it.
So they heat up the ice
properties.
So they heat up the blood?
Yeah, PRP. Anyone's like that happens all the time. Where you pull your platelets out, you spin it you pull your blood, spin it to get to the platelets, and then you put it back. They inject it back into the spot where you're hurt, and it's supposed to help with inflammation, different things. Obviously, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but in Europe, there's a certain step of the process that is legal that's not here yet.
Huh? I wonder what it is over there. I wonder whose ass do I have to kiss here? Whose dick? I don't want to say.
What? Well, Pat. You were there, weren't you? When Peyton was going through it, he ended up suing the guy, the HGH dude that said he was sending stuff to his wife or whatever.
Huh? No, that was Al Jazeera TV. They reported that. Is that what happened?
Yeah. They had a
long time.
They had a hidden camera on the guy who was not knowing, obviously, that he was being taped, and he was talking on and on about giving Peyton all this stuff. And the league instantly just said, no, there's nothing to it. And everybody in the media said, well, Peyton says that there's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. And Manning sent a goon squad to the house of the parents of this accuser.
Huh?
Move.
Oh, yeah.
Power move. I love it.
Knock on the door, guys in trench coats claiming to be police, and they basically just intimidated the parents of this guy who was in the middle of recanting the whole story. There's a lot there. We'll never know because no one has the stomach for investigating it. But
there's a lot of strife between Patriots fans and everyone else about this because it was right before they went after Tom Brady, I guess. So Patriots fans, they're gonna spend billions of dollars going after Tom Brady to suspend him, and you're just gonna take Peyton's word for it.
It was all right in the middle of it, AJ. Right in the middle of it.
Are you serious? I didn't even know that.
Oh, hell to the yeah. Believe me, this is the paranoia that I wear on my friggin' sleeve.
Hey, by the way, Peyton turned down my show.
Oh, then let's shit on him then.
He was doing
personally or his team?
I would assume that he would be directly interacting with his team, but they did this whole, when he had his statue here, they were doing a full media tour here of Indianapolis. Every local station got an interview. I asked for an interview, and I got denied.
Did they just say no, or did they give you like a counter offer? Well, you can't get Peyton, but we'll give you Cooper.
They just said no. And Cooper gets the whole Manning hour on Fox. He's a comedic fella. Like in real life, I've got a chance to chat with him a couple times. He's a comedic fella. I enjoy him. But yeah, I got turned down completely. I was like, yo, what up? Whoa, man.
You need to reach out to Peyton directly, Pat.
I don't have his number. I had his old number.
Didn't even get to him. Don't you see that? Don't you see that happen sometimes where it doesn't even get to the person? Their team just shuts it down before because they think you're a loose cannon.
A loose cannon. It's funny you say that. I got booked to speak at a company. What was that company name? Do you remember that? I don't know, but the lady accidentally sent me the entire email chain between her and the CEO of the company.
No.
Yeah, and the CEO of the company calls me a loose cannon like 4 times in the email chain before them finally making me an offer to come speak at their event. So obviously I say yes. Then I do some research. This company's gigantic. I'm sitting in the middle of like their cafeteria. There's probably like 1,000 people in there. Probably 1,000 of their employees are in there. They have this large campus. And I just did a 20-minute bit about being a loose cannon in the CEO's email box. I just roasted the CEO for 25 minutes. 25 minutes. I just roasted
the lady. Was the lady aware that she added you on the email chain?
Absolutely not. She had no idea. Nobody had a clue what was coming.
Isn't that the worst? That's like if you send a text out you think is going to one person, but it goes to the other, and how do I get that back? And you can't get it back.
So did you like F-bomb and go off the rails?
So before the show, the PR lady comes up to me and says there's like 4 words I can't say. I was being paid to speak for 20 minutes here, a motivational speech, rallying the team together. So basically I rallied the team together around the CEO, of hiring a guy for a certain amount of cash for 20 minutes of work and calling me a loose cannon like no more or no less than 5 times. So this is the guy you work for. So let's fucking go, guys. You're going to have to work hard because this motherfucker's making some bad decisions. And I dropped one motherfucker, I think, in there the whole time.
What were the 4 words you couldn't use?
I was like, fuck. I couldn't say fuck any form of fuck. No forms of fuck. I think there was a couple other things I couldn't say. Like I couldn't mention any other company. There's like rules, like you can't speak about other company. Like I couldn't mention competition. There was like 4 different, and it was just all the main words you can't say. You know the main words you can't say.
Yeah.
Those words. That's about it. You just went and got something, Jerry. What is it?
Well, on a similar note, it's always weird when you're speaking at an event and you realize sometimes to play to the crowd, you have to break a few things. You know what I mean? You have to push the envelope or whatever. I feel like that's what you were trying to do. Well, this on November 10th, Friday, which is the Marine Corps birthday, they do these parties, and it's like every Marine base around. Well, so they asked me to MC this event at this place over near Gillette Stadium, this big performance space, and this filled with Marines. There were 2 bands. Like the guy who organized the whole thing was the lead singer of a kick-ass band, and he's a Marine. So So this was the poster for this thing.
Wish you would step. Look at that.
There's Third Eye Blind.
Right. So, like I said to the guy, are there language restrictions? Because I don't really know. I'm not doing stand-up necessarily. But the guy goes, read the room. It's all Marines. Don't friggin' worry about it. So, I went on this rant. It's all Patriots fans, and I went on this Roger Goodell rant, and I'm F-bombing or whatever. And goes over big with all these rowdies in the back. But then it turns out I'm not just the MC, I'm the guest of honor, which means they ceremoniously cut this cake with a sword. It's done at every Marine facility around. And I get the first slice because I'm the guest of honor. Well, by tradition, the second guy to get the second slice is the oldest Marine there. Fellas, this guy was born in 1931. He fought in Korea at the Chosin Reservoir, the frozen Chosin. And there's this like gentleman with like all this hardware on his chest. And I'm like, oh my God, I was just up there like doing like R-rated nonsense, like an idiot because the drunks at the bar wanted to hear it. I felt like a total asshole. So I apologize to that guy.
Read the room.
You were playing to the back of the room, as comedians will do sometimes.
What I did, I read the room, and those guys couldn't have been cooler, couldn't have been nicer. God, and think about the honor. You know what I mean? I'm a guy who friggin' writes about football all day long, and these guys actually fought in Fallujah, and guys that have been wounded and crap. But I mean, they just wanted to be entertained. Anyway, the point being that sometimes you feel like, okay, I can get away with this, or I'm not doing my job if I don't F-bomb, but there's always going to be that one person in the room who hears nothing else.
Who gives a fuck? Like
that you can't play to that one you can't worry about that one or two. There's 1 or 2 people in the room.
Yeah, and by the way, loaded with Barstool people. And I mean, like, as soon as I mentioned the stool, the place it brought the house down. Probably not the guy born in 1931. Guessing he's not reading a lot of Wake Up.
But he's happy that the boys are happy.
I like to think that. He's probably too much of a gentleman to say anything. Oh, and Miss Massachusetts was there. Huh. So there you go.
Wow.
Jerry, how about, speaking of Massachusetts, how about your boys tonight? Patriots 41-16 just dominated the Broncos.
Ooh, good
you know what?
Good
and
cover.
I know that Pat thought that was an easy bet. My problem is where it was played. Like that stadium, weird shit happens. I don't know about to every team, but certainly to the Patriots. It's like the Bermuda Triangle. It's this weird sort of.
They say the Illuminati's up there. They do say the Illuminati's up there.
Every time the Pats go there,
underneath the airport in Denver, supposedly is where all big decisions are made, and that's why fucked up things happen there. So,
Pat, you know who Tom DeLonge is?
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Go listen to him on Rogan's podcast a couple of weeks back. He is all in. He says the governments, they come after. He's like starting a company about aliens and all this government information. They're coming to him. It's ridiculous, the stuff that he says. And then he says 400 times, well, I can't talk about that. I can't say that. I can't mention. It's unbelievable. It's brutal. But you should have him on your show. It'd be really fun.
Okay, I'll just text them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know who killed it, Jerry, tonight? Your boy getting post-game interviews next to Tom Brady, old Rexy Burkhead, who I think I mentioned on our first podcast
Rexy!
ever.
Absolutely. Stepped up. They didn't even dress Mike Gillislee, healthy scratch, and decided to rely on Burkhead and to play Martellus Bennett. Like, what a friggin' story that was.
What happened with Marty now? I saw Aaron Rodgers was coming out and posted something who's like my friend.
Everybody did.
Yeah, so what happened?
So I would love. I definitely have an opinion on this, right? I should say facts. So I don't know what Martellus his motivation was, whatever it is. I mean, it seems like my guess would be, Aaron goes down. Yeah, why wouldn't I want to play for? I want to play with Tom Brady or someone else. And he talked about his shoulder was hurting. They claim whatever. Regardless, I don't know what his situation is. It worked out for him because he played for the Patriots 5 days later, 4 days later, whatever it was. So they cut him, said he didn't disclose an injury. Whatever happened, I don't know. It's gonna be going on for a while. But he took a shot at Dr. Pat McKenzie, who's been in Green Bay forever, and that's who Aaron came out, defended, John Kuhn, Jordy Nelson. Everybody was there. I was in Green Bay 9 years, and Pat McKenzie is one of the greatest dudes ever. Like he's the one, like literally one of the only team doctors I feel like in the league, was light years ahead of everybody. Won't give shots, won't give Toradol. You know how Pat, every team would just line up and get Toradol shots for a long time.
Yeah, I took Toradol.
Yeah, I've never had one in my life because McKenzie would never give you one. I've had multiple situations where I wanted to get one.
No, you fucked it up then. You should have done Toradol.
He wouldn't do it. That's what I'm saying. This dude, McKenzie, is one of the greatest guys ever. I would have to fight him to play because he would try to shut you down on certain things. And I have a great relationship with him.
Gotcha.
But like Marty kind of took a shot at him, but then like kind of contradicted himself in his statement as well, saying they wanted me to play through it. I promise you, out of all the guys that have ever come through Green Bay and dealt with Dr. Pat McKenzie, he's never once pushed anybody to play. He is 100% like about the player. Yes, he works for the Packers, but he actually cares about the people. And once all he ever tried to do was tell you you shouldn't do this, or he would try to fight you not to play. If you had something, they definitely would not let you play. And the coaches, the GM, everyone listens to Doc McKenzie, whatever he says. They have those medical meetings every single morning on every player that has any kind of injury. And he's the most stand-up doctor on the planet. Stop giving. I don't know how many years ago, or like they don't give Toradol shots. They don't give it. I would try to get shots for certain things at times, and he would never. He literally be like, it's not even an option. Don't even ask me.
It was the best. Toradol's the best.
I'm saying, though. That's this guy though that he's. Luckily, a lot of the players are coming into his defense, and they know like Marty's the only guy that's ever said something like this about McKenzie. But no, McKenzie is not that guy. He would never ever push you to play, and he pushes you the other way to protect you and your family. So
in no uncertain terms, Bennett called him a liar. Yeah. I think he said a fucking liar, and was like, they're trying to push me to play, and I wanted surgery. I chose my health over that team or whatever. I mean, it was nasty.
But he dresses like 4 days later for the Patriots. So right there is your answer.
I listen. Raise your hand if, as soon as he got cut by the Packers, you said, get him to New England. I want him with the Patriots.
If that was his plan,
just me. Yeah,
if that's his plan. More power to you. Your plan worked out. You don't have to.
What a masterful plan.
Yeah, you don't have to knock McKenzie though because your plan worked out.
Sure.
That's the thing.
Like, yeah, he definitely looks like a bad guy, right? Bashing a very good guy too is not good. But what if his plan was just to get there the whole time, to get to New England? That'd be wild if that was really.
He somehow knew it. He knew like, hey, if I can find a way to get released, then maybe the Patriots will call. They'll call, and they did right away. And he passed the physical.
You can totally see him doing all right, I'm playing with Brett Hundley. I've got probably one more year in me.
Hey, Brett Hundley,
I'm not getting there with this guy. No disrespect to Brett Hundley, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. And I think I could see where Bennett would just do the Al Cervic, oh, my arm, it's broken thing, and becomes toxic to the 30 other teams that could have picked him up. and the Patriots just sit there and, I don't know how many teams he had to go through. It wasn't 30, but it's probably 25, 26 teams. And catches a big crossing route from Brady. He was throwing blocks. It was like, I don't know. I don't know how you can be so hurt that you can't play for the Packers and without anything being done to you, start catching balls from Brady. I'm just
you know what? They
did.
do have that special Brady diet up there that might have fixed up a shoulder. Who knows?
Some dehydrated algae and some spirulina.
And that alien thing he did with the chocolates. Yeah.
Yep. No nightshades, no peppers.
He kills
or
it though
mushrooms.
at life. Like really, Tom Brady really does do life good. He does life good. Old Tom Brady.
You saw his Instagram pictures. Him down at the beach with Giselle and her just laying in a bikini, and you're going, nope. He's better off the field than he is on the field. Like winning more in real life than he is winning rings.
Tom Brady's just doing it, man. That's what Tom Brady does. Tom Brady does it.
Jerry, does Josh McDaniels, does he get a head coaching gig after this season?
Not again, right?
I think he's going to be offered some, but I also think he's in a position where he can pick and choose. Like he can wait and come back and then look for the perfect job because most of the time you get one shot. Pete Carroll is the rare guy who got the third, but he had to go win at USC to get them. And I think he was I think he interviewed for the Rams job, and he was looking at just what a mess the ownership was there, and that's why he bailed. And by the way,
they're fucking good.
Oh, my God. What does that say? We talked a couple of weeks ago about Jeff Fisher and how terrible he is. Well, look at the quarterbacks he had on that roster last year and how they're playing their frigging asses off without him.
That's what shows you how valuable a great play caller is on offense. Josh McDaniels may be the greatest play caller in the NFL. I think he is the greatest play caller in the NFL. Look what he did against the Broncos. They didn't even really worry about going outside and throwing to the receivers. They used, like we said, Rex Burkhead out of the backfield. They're just making whoever you put on him, it's really tough to cover a guy like Burkhead, Cooks, all these guys out of the backfield running these routes where they make 4 cuts within a 6-inch box, and they get open, bam, touchdowns. You get interviewed after the game next to Tom Brady if you're Rex Burkhead. Oh, and by the way, you blocked a punt as well. So, I mean, big night for Rex.
Yeah, Chris Harris and Aqib Talib were just non-factors. You just completely took 2 of their best players out of the game. And, you're throwing bodies at Von Miller, you take him out of it, and I'm with you. McDaniels will do anything from week to week. That's what's great about him.
He has no ego. He has no ego in it. That's why I think he's a great play caller. He doesn't care. Like what his offense is, whatever the defense gives him, wherever we match up the best. And tonight against the Broncos, they matched up with their backs out of the backfield.
Hey, they really do though. The Patriots are the best at 100% finding a weakness and just attacking it the entire fucking time.
They don't care. Like he doesn't have some crazy macho ego where he says, no, we're going to run the ball 30 times tonight. Guess what? If we're not having success running, we're not going to run the ball. We're going to exploit our matchups, and that's exactly what they do. That's why they're so great.
Yeah, and he will also be perfectly content to just keep throwing it short an entire game. And I think on the other side of the ball with the Patriots, they will take away the deep ball and allow you to just pick them apart underneath on the theory that eventually egos take over and quarterbacks get bored and coordinators get bored and they want to take those shots upfield, and that's where they'll take advantage of it. It can't be easy. Can't be easy to draw up these spectacular, 40-yard pass plays and never use them.
Man, you remember when Tom Brady had Randy Moss? Wow.
I certainly do.
What a fucking time that was. Think about that. The Patriots are the best at exploiting your weakness. I think that's a Belichick brand. I think that's really a brand thing. Like McDaniels obviously is the guy now, but I feel like Belichick is just I feel like the way Belichick makes his coaches break down film and study shit, I think is just a different animal. That's why I think they're so talented. But god damn, when they had Randy Moss, I wish Philip Dorsett would become that. Because it'd be a lot of fun to watch them with Josh McDaniel having a guy just be the fucking monster deep ball threat.
AJ, your NFC North career didn't overlap with Moss's NFC North career, did it? He was in Oakland when you were there?
Yeah, I believe he was in Oakland.
Okay, because he was far and away the best deep threat I've ever seen in my life, especially that 1 year, that 07. He set the most significant single play in regular season history to me was they had that Saturday night game trying to go for 16-0 against the Giants. And Brady overthrew Moss on a deep ball, and they went back to the very same play on the very next snap, and he caught it and went the distance. It was his 23rd, which broke Jerry Rice's record. It was Brady's 50, which broke Peyton Manning's record. Manning later, rebroke it, and it got them 16-0. Like one ball set 3 records that I thought would never be broken, but it was just Moss. I saw him catch balls in triple coverage. Like all 3 of the defensive backs just fell to the ground like candle pins, and he came up with the ball.
His documentary is very fascinating too. Randy Moss's documentary is very fascinating. I think it's a 30 for 30. That shit's wild. Imagine him and fucking White Chocolate playing high school basketball together.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That had to be a fucking show, dude. Jason Williams doing elbow passes to Randy Moss, taking off from the fucking foul line probably. That shit's outrageous, cuz. Good for them.
Yeah.
If I'm the Patriots, I would pay Josh McDaniels $10 million to stay as the offensive coordinator.
You think he's that big of a difference, huh?
Yes, and I don't know if is he a great head coach? I don't know. Regardless, if he is, whenever he does get a head coaching gig again, he should stay the offensive play caller, no question.
Sure.
I think he has to, but there's a different thing being a great play caller and being a great head coach. I don't know if he is a great head coach or not. There has to be a lot of things in place. You got to have a quarterback and you got to have an O-line if you want to be a great play caller too.
Yeah, and I think when he went to Denver, he just didn't engender that respect. Like Brandon Marshall was pissed off about his contract, and he was causing a lot of crap or whatever. And he was young, and he looks younger than he really is. He's like 41, but at the time he looked like he was, 12. It's hard to tell when a guy's going to be that Sean McVay guy who clearly, whatever it takes to be a head coach, that son of a bitch has it. Because that
when's he going to retire? Is he going to coach for 40 years? Is he going to coach until he's 71? He's been a head coach for 40 years in the NFL. Fucking McVay, he's 31 years old, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And how's this for a stat? In the this 4-game winning streak, they won 33-7 on Sunday. They've outscored opponents 144-41.
It's pretty good.
And I thought the Rams were going to be terrible. I really did.
Yeah, I mean Jared Goff was just a complete uninformed moron. Oh, that's how he came across on Hard Knocks last year, and he's turned him into a quarterback. And I total respect for the Rams. I mean, clearly the Eagles have had the best season so far, but the Rams are right behind them.
And they have the best punter on earth right now. Guys in the New York Times. That's always going to be good for your team, AJ.
What's he doing in the New York Times?
They called him the MVP. The New York Times called him the potential MVP of the NFL for how great he is at his job.
I mean, he's great, but that's not happening. You know that, right?
Well, it's not deserved. He shouldn't be the MVP, but goddamn, he's really fucking good there at kicking the football.
He's amazing. What does he do that sets him apart, Pat?
He just fucking he booms football. He just
he can do. Are the best punters? They're versatile. They can boom the 65-yarders, but then they can also do the Jerry Thornton coffin corners.
Yeah, they got the Jerry Thornton coffin corners. They got the Aussie kicks. They got the rollout kicks. They got the banana kicks. They got the long bombs. They got the nukes. Like there's different punts for different situations. With different.
What's a banana kick?
Banana kicks when you hold the ball completely perpendicular to your body, so it's sideways.
And you kick the tip.
No, you kick like you kick.
So what's it called when you kick the tip then?
Just the tip? That's an onside kick? Oh, you're talking about the Aussie kick when it's straight up and down.
That's what I mean, because that wasn't always around. That became big the last 10 years or so, I feel.
Well, the guy that came for the Chargers, his name's Darren something. I forget his name. He was the first Aussie. He did it. And then now it's kind of transformed into a much different kick than what it originally was. But at first it was just a pooch because you could swing as hard as you wanted. It wouldn't go far. So you didn't have to worry about anything. You could just change your club, basically. So you'll swing the same as you would a 9-iron. You'd swing for a 3-iron or a 4-iron. It's just you change the face of the club. That's kind of what the Aussie punt was for pooches. So it was easier than a coffin corner punt. Then now it's become you can kick the end over end Aussie punt a further distance. I punted it almost half of the season last year, and I averaged like up around 50 yards. So you can there's a lot of different punts happening up. There's a lot of different punts happening. And Johnny Hecker can do them all.
I'm worried about your health and the punter's health. Like, does it hurt to kick just the tip?
No, because you're not kicking just the tip unless you fuck up. But yeah, it definitely does. You're trying to hit like right behind it almost, like right behind the tip.
So it hits and bounces backwards, or it stays where it is.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to. But now you can make those roll forward and shit if you really want to. It's a big.
And does the game situation dictate which one you're using, or
Yeah.
is it just you're trying to catch the return guy off guard? So
1,000%. Yeah, so you can't hit that. We did a rollout punt actually, where I would catch a snap and I would roll right like in college, and we had a guard over and everything like that. There's just so many different things you can do against different returners, or if they have a really good rush and you don't think you can block them, either you don't have a guy that can block well, you have no idea what's going to happen. You fucking get them. We got them moving on a roll because we didn't think we could block a team. So we try to bow down their punt return rush so they wouldn't try to block it. So we would do different configurations and shit. There's just a lot of things going on so you don't fuck it up. Because if you fuck it up, you could probably lose the game because of it.
When is the first guy going to punt right and left footed and you don't know which foot is coming?
There's some dude in college that does it, I guess. There's some guy in college that does, but I don't see the true advantage of it. I honestly don't, because
what are you talking about? Watch a game with a left-footed punter. That's all they talk about is, Bill Belichick loves left-footed punters because it spins the wrong way, and then if they get one guy to drop it, it's over.
And it has paid off, but there's right-footed punters that make that happen too each week. There's shit like that. There's a lot of lefty punters nowadays. There's numerous of them, and it's because they're so talented. Lefties are very talented, but back in the day, there was only like one or two lefties. It was like a different ball game. So it was different whenever you hired one. Whenever you brought in a lefty, but now they're a pretty regular thing, but it does seem to work out in their favor.
Do they change the jugs machine, spin the other way for when you're facing a lefty?
Yeah. They also bring a guy in to work out, kicks a lefty. So they do the jugs, they do the whole thing. They try to figure it out. It's just a weak difference. It's just a little bit of a difference. But if you're a returner that's going to drop a ball, you're a returner that's going to drop a ball, regardless if it's going right or left.
Really, because Collinsworth went on a whole big rant where the Broncos muffed the punt.
Yeah, it seems to happen.
That's Ryan Allen. It's a different action, and nobody's used to it.
The very first punt he dropped.
Yeah, right there. Special teams had a big night for the Patriots. But it seems to happen, though, for him. So maybe it is something, but honestly, the same guys that are dropping left-footed punts, I've seen them on film dropping right-footed punts, too. It's like a fumbler is a fumbler. It's kind of the same thing with punt returners. Like if a guy's going to bobble a ball, he's going to bobble a ball. We just got to figure out which balls he bobbles.
All right, fellas. Well,
Different
we'll probably
tools
get
in the
into,
bag, AJ.
Like Spacey, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Well, we'll probably get to the point we could wrap this up. We didn't mention Atlanta kicking the Cowboys
Dallas,
bag in. Yeah, yep.
Zeke's
Jerry Jones
good, huh?
going off the rail.
Zeke is really good, huh?
He's a difference maker. God knows he's a difference maker. And I credit to Atlanta for bouncing back. You know, they're starting to figure it out. Maybe I don't know.
How about Adrian Claiborne? 6 sacks in the game.
That is many sacks.
Yeah, I had such a draft boner for that guy to come to New England. But I mean,
you don't have to put draft in there. Just boner.
Boner.
I certainly do after 6 sacks. It was like 5 or 6 guys in league history have had 6. I'm flaking on who once had 7 in a game, which is and you know what? Shame on the coordinators for not figuring that out, for not sort of saying you know what? After the first 2 or 3, maybe you ought to put somebody on him or
can we get this left tackle? It was the backup left tackle because the best tackle in the league, Tyron Smith, was hurt. So yeah, can we slide his direction or maybe get a guy to chip? How about after 3 or 4 we do that?
Yeah, keep a back there. I don't know, like roll out to the other side. But no, they just said the first one he came in untouched, and after that, if there's a third, maybe a second you can allow, but if there's a third, then that's where you just say. this is not going to happen again, no, regardless of what it takes. But that's Cowboys, I guess.
You got to stop it at some point. I mean, like, I never really understood how much you can help a left tackle until like I got a chance to like talk to Robert Mathis once in a conversation about like what I like asked him straight up. I'm like, what do you go through? Like, cause I like, what is your, there was a flight home and I was like, what the fuck do you do? He's like, well, it depends. Like sometimes I got a tight end that'll chip me on the way out and then a tackle will get me. And then while I'm blocking it or while I'm with the tackle, a running back will run by and chip me. He's got 3 dudes like boom, 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 like hitting him. And he's trying to get to this fucking quarterback. That's a 3-on-1 situation, basically. And I'm like, man, couldn't they have done that for old buddy today? I mean, Dak Prescott, he almost died today because he had
to be just like your punt situation, Pat. How about he's on the left tackle side, and it's Dak's natural path would be to roll out to his right. It's just like when you can't block a guy on punt. How about we just roll Dak out as much as we can, at least maybe on 3rd down, to get him away from this guy.
Let's run it. Let's get him a head start against this old Claiborne. Let's give him a head start here. Yeah.
Well, you know, the problem is, though, they that other side, the guy Vic Beasley Jr. led the league in sacks last year. So you can't. There's really nowhere to run when those guys are playing.
That's a nightmare situation. Like in my head, I see that as a nightmare situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So who do you want to be? Who do you want to get beat? Who do you want to sack you, Claiborne or Vic Beasley? Which one is it? That's basically what they were saying.
Yeah, I punt that one.
Speaking of nightmare situations, the New York Giants actually handed a win to a winless team, and I want to congratulate Eli Manning for throwing the worst pass attempt I've ever seen in my life. And I saw Tim Tebow. If you saw it, he's getting hauled down. His body was parallel to the ground, and he decided to try to chuck it and just tossed it over his head, which the technical term for that is a fucking fumble. And it just rolled like 8 yards through the line, and they dove on it.
What happened?
Yeah, he's being hauled down and tries to toss it over his head, but it was basically like trying a forward fumble, like directly into the line. Like he's done. He is tapioca. And the report came out this week that the Giants have told their scouts, start looking for quarterbacks in the draft.
And there's reports that they may fire Ben McAdoo soon.
Yeah, I mean, I tough break for old Ben if it happens, but you know, you can't just blame all this on Odell Beckham Jr. going down. Like since that boat trip, the team is like, I think they're like 1-9 now or something. Like it's and they're not even close. They're not even competitive. Like that's a team that has just laid down. You don't lose to San Francisco. I don't care if it's in San Francisco. You don't lose to that team with the immortal CJ Beathard at quarterback. And they like I said, it wasn't even close. They're a mess up. Maybe the greatest catch of all time today, Maurice Harris from the Redskins. You see that thing?
That was incredible. And Case Keenum's playing well too, but that catch was outrageous, man.
Yeah. Off the practice squad this week. They put him on the roster, and he comes up with that right at the pylon. Now, again, didn't lead to a win, but then again, neither did the Odell Beckham Jr. catch in 2014 that we're still talking about. That's still on every friggin' highlight package. If he had not gotten out of,
is this dude going to get an entire deal and become friends with Drake and get like courtside seats because of this catch? Because Odell went on to be like a superstar after that catch.
Well, now every one-handed catch, middle school, high school, college, NFL, it's the Odell Beckham catch. That's all they talk about.
OBJ.
Because you do one of those, and
the dancer is this kid. That's all that matters, really. You're a good dancer.
It'll get you a Madden cover.
I'll tell you what, I can dance a little bit. I never really got a chance to, but I think if I was in a situation, I would have killed it.
Did you ever have opportunity on a field to do a dance?
Oh, yeah. I've done numerous dances. I actually started celebrating on fourth downs a long time ago, whenever good things.
Were you ever the guy like the college coaches where they circle around you and you dance in the locker room post-game?
I don't think post-game I've ever been that guy, but I do believe just in casual days I've been that guy in the locker room, if that makes sense. Like a summer workout or something. After a summer workout, things are a little loose. little loose in there. And there might have been a Caucasian fella right there in the middle just getting down in the middle, just really busting it out and having a good time.
Like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, like that. But I would never post-game it because I'm not important enough post-game. I understand that completely.
Yeah, you are. What if you pinned him down 3 or 4 times?
I mean, in college, I also kicked. Missed some kicks, made a lot of kicks. But it was just like one of those things where the quarterback was Pat White, running back was Steve Slayton. We won a bunch, let them do it. And then I got to the NFL, it was Peyton Manning's team. I never really had the shot to be the guy. Now, if I would have went to some small school, like some D3 school, like some people who tweet me and tell me punters aren't athletes, like I would have been QB, wide receiver, safety, linebacker, probably offensive line, running back, and probably coach if I really wanted to at those schools. So I would have been able to do that after games, but not not at West Virginia.
Did you draw a crowd after the Funt play?
I'll tell you what, there was a lot of people wanting to hear my particular conversation about it for sure. The next day, like the cafeteria, there have been plenty of times in the cafeteria where I had people crowded around a table listening to things. That was always a good time. Those are good days, AJ. Those cafeteria table conversations after either a really terrible loss or a really awesome win were always pretty fucking epic.
Oh, no question. And I can imagine Grigson just up in his office watching the security footage of you, everyone gathered around, say it's like a big loss. He's like, there's Pat again, just holding court, and after we just got beat 40-0.
Bro, what the fuck happened out there was usually my question to everybody. It's usually,
You say, what'd you guys do? Like, you're not on the team.
Guys, what the fuck happened? I had a very, I started noticing, like, if I didn't have a good game, we usually didn't do well. And then I would have good games and we still didn't do well. But I was always like, man, I'm happy that I at least attempted to do my job well today. But I never made people feel that particular, like, the you guys thing. I always was like, man, what a fucking day. Like, I always tried to, like, I wanted people to know, like, man, we all realized that yesterday sucked. But let's not blame anybody. Let's just go ahead and mock the whole fucking situation because that was terrible. We lost by 100 points in 2 games to a couple different the Steelers almost hung 100 points on us one time. They almost wanted to hang 100 points on us. And we're just sitting there taking it. I'm like, bro, long day yesterday. Boy, let's fucking talk about it. What happened?
You're not the guy coming to the table with your tray just going, well, at least I punted my ass off.
No, I never.
Okay, that's
I would never, because I'm so low on the totem pole. You got to remember that. Low on the totem pole guys can't be those guys. Can't be an asshole. You got to be who you can afford to be, Jerry. Be who you can afford to be.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
That's it. Which is why
I'm a motivator. That's what I was. I was a motivator. Guys, let's go. We're about to have the best Wednesday in the history of fucking Wednesdays, AJ. Let's go.
You know what? Which is why last week when this podcast failed to stick to the blocks, I didn't sleep. It bothered me all week long. We weren't sticking to our blocks. We lost all our structure. That was on me. I'm all about accountability. When you point your finger at someone, 3 fingers are pointed back at you.
Right back at you. Right back at you.
There's nothing more, Pat, that I'd want going out to a Wednesday practice when I know we're going to kill each other on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Then the punter said, hey, let's have a great day today, guys. Let's do really, really good.
I'm telling you, as terrible as you make that sound, I played it off because everybody
knew,
everybody knew
Pat,
that.
Okay, your 4-minute period where you don't get touched. Let's have a good day, Pat.
10. And do not, I have a 3-yard halo, please.
I'm glad you're in a good mood, Pat.
But
go over to that side field, Pat, and hold like a champion today.
So DeQuell Jackson, linebacker for us for a few years. He was a vet when he came to us, right? So he was already like an old grizzled vet, basically. And like the first couple months, his locker was 2 down from me. I knew he did not like me. Like, I know when people do not like me. It's very obvious. Like, right? So like his first couple of days, it would be like 6 a.m. We're going like to whatever. It's like early as shit. We got like a special team meeting or something. He's in there getting a cold or something. I'm like, let's go, DeQuell. Huh? We're going to have a fucking day here. The hot tub isn't that nice. These drinks don't taste that great. The food isn't fantastic, but God damn it, we're going to have a fucking day, DeQuell. Let's fucking go. And DeQuell like hated me. And then finally, it was like, I think it was like a month in, we finally had a turning point. something happened. It was in a practice. Something went down, and I mocked it immediately, just like I said I would have for Jameis Winston's thing. I mocked it immediately, and I got to quote a laugh, and I was like, "Bang! I got him. I got this guy's on the team now." Okay, thank you for coming, cuz I'm happy we're friends, and we've been friends ever since. And we went on a trip together, and he talked about how bad he hated me the first 3 weeks. I was like, "I understand. I'm a lot. I'm coming in hot, but I'm gonna be here. Just know that forever." So, AJ, I would have had you all in on that Wednesday practice, cuzzo. I'd have been like, yo, I'm going to be in this indoor in like 10 minutes. But I want you to know, out here, gladiators are made out here, AJ. Gladiators are out here in the cold, AJ.
Oh, my God. I would have hated you so bad before practice. And then once practice was over, I would have loosened up. Oh, you're okay. And then on Fridays, I would have thought you were okay.
Oh, dude, I would have been your fucking favorite. I bet you I would have been your favorite teammate. Absolutely. You do something in practice and I'm watching. Okay, AJ Hawk. Okay, AJ Hawk. I'm like a fucking commentator of practice. Like
okay,
me and Vinatieri just having a good time.
You would have won me over. I was aware of your shenanigans when you were on the Colts, and I was
shenanigans.
I was aware. I respected it from a distance. I remember asking Huber about you, actually.
Oh, what did he say? I'm excited to hear this.
Huber was awesome. His locker was a couple down. I would talk to him all the time because he and Nuge were next to each other.
Nuge.
And so I was naturally over there a lot. And Huber, I was like, you know, Pat? Of course, yeah, I know Pat. He's hilarious. And he loved you from the jump. So I knew right then, okay, well, I respect Huber. I like what he does. He does good work. He's a left-footed punter. So that was the stamp of approval.
Too. Huber and I have known each other since college. We played against each other. He was at Cincinnati. I was at West Virginia. And I had no fucking idea what I was doing. And he knew it. So it was like we had a good relationship. We got along well. I was just like, he was very nice to me, you know?
Huber's awesome. I saw Huber sing karaoke to some songs he should not be singing at the team parties before.
But I like the commitment. I like the commitment, though.
Yeah, I respected that big time. He's all. How about Huber? Went to high school in Cincinnati, went to college at UC, University of Cincinnati, gets drafted by the Bengals.
He's Big Dick Daddy from Cincinnati, cuzzo.
Yeah, he's never left like a 15-mile radius.
Yeah, big man on city campus.
Well, if I accomplish nothing else in this lifetime, I got AJ Hawk to start using the word shenanigans. so there you go. Next week we're going to work on.
Were you the motivator of that?
I don't think I ever heard the word pass his lips until I said it last week and kind of freaked you out. But next week I'm going to work on getting you to say monkey shines.
What is that?
It's the same. It's the same thing. Like, that's Pat McAfee and his crazy monkey shines. Oh, the way he carries on.
I'm not sure a lot of people said that. Who, like my dad said that? Like, when did people say this?
I want to say it's like an old like 1920s word or something. Ask your dad. Ask both your dads. That's your homework assignment if they've ever heard that term.
Okay. Pistol listens. I'm guessing he's going to send me a text and say, nah, never heard monkey shine.
What about Chopper?
Chopper doesn't know what the internet is, so he's not listening.
Bro, Chopper's feeding kids beers. I love that.
I try to explain to what a podcast is to Chopper, and it's hilarious.
Is Chopper just like have a deep Southern accent?
Not at all. No. Chopper's a very, very smart guy, but he is...
so Chopper's Brady Quinn's dad?
Yeah.
By the way, he gave you a shout out on TV the other day.
Brady did?
Yeah, you saw it. Don't play dumb right now.
I was doing a game myself. I didn't. He stayed at my house.
Jeez.
Because he did the Ohio State game. What did he say?
He said that the linebacker coach for Ohio State was a great coach. He actually coached my brother-in-law, AJ Hawk, while he was at Ohio State.
I don't think that's true because the linebacker coach is not there anymore. He's the head coach of UC.
Well, he lied right on TV. It got tweeted to you and me. Somebody said name dropping all the way on TV. And it was Brady Quinn dropping AJ Hawk's name right there.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was out of town. He used my basement and had like 15 of his buddies over, so he better.
Oh, Brady Quinn's got 15 friends, guys? Like, that's a lot of friends. In Ohio?
He had the crew, his whole crew, the Fox crew came over, and then all of his high school buddies came over and used our basement, smoked cigars, and watched all the games while I was in Houston.
Wait, I hope he didn't
AJ Hawk's house?
Oh, yeah.
I hope he cleaned up after himself. I hope he didn't do like my sister will take care of this shit, guys. Feel free to just trash the place.
No, he knows his sister well enough, and he knows my wife. Yeah, he did not leave a mess, that's for sure.
So let me get this straight. You let the entire Fox Sports crew just in your house to watch TV? I was actually in Columbus, Ohio on a college game day with you, and I wasn't even allowed near your house.
Because you drove home after you got all geared up with the boys down on campus. You're welcome to come, but you jetted out of town after you spent 9 hours at that frat house.
Bro.
Fraternity. I'm sorry, Pat.
It was a fraternity. Thank you. Have some respect. You want to go get geared up, cuz? What, bro? What does that mean?
Do you miss the college game day thing?
No. What are you fucking talking? Not a single second of it. I was just immersed in like the most hilarious atmosphere on earth. And it would be awesome if that was like my only job, right? Like if I could just prepare for that all week, every week, I would have so much fun with it. It would be a blast. But whenever I'm like traveling from that, where I'm just literally in a fraternity house for 10 hours out of the whole day, then I fly home, and the Sunday we do this show, I fly home the next day, then our show's this night. It's just, it was literally, my entire week was just go, 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 go. And then right in the middle, I was in college for 12 hours. And then it was go, 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 go. It was just wild. It was a fucking wild schedule. I mean, I fucking crushed Copperhead Road in Roanoke, Virginia, while at Virginia Tech, the square dance, Copperhead Road. I crushed it. I had a lot of great experiences, but I'm happy it's over.
Yeah, I could see the point. Like you would need to take like Sunday through Friday just to detox from that shit, but you can't just kind of work that into what is probably already a busy life filled with substance abuse.
Yikes! No,
fair to say.
The only time I really drank was on that show and the night before. So I would go fucking tear down whatever small town we were in the night before. Then I was dead tired all day in that frat house while was just blaring. And then you got these college kids rolling through, gearing the fuck up at all times, internet disappearing out of nowhere. It was a real life college fraternity house, exactly how you think it is. Every single week, just sitting in there, surviving, then doing a really cool show. The show was really fucking cool. And then trying to get out of there was a nightmare. It was just, But I don't drink that much. I don't drink. I strictly marijuana all day, every day now.
Well, then I'll drink for 3 because that's
I love
still going to be my jam.
What do you do? What do you drink? Do you drink beer?
Yeah, beer, wine. And you know what? I'm not above having a nice little bourbon at the end of the night.
Like every night?
No, most nights.
5 out of
like
7?
in bed or what? Next to the Irish Rose or what?
No, like relaxing before bed. But wine with dinner every night. I can't imagine drinking something else unless I've got something I have to drive or I've got a comedy show to do or whatever. I'm having friggin' wine with dinner. It's food to me. I'm not going to drink Pepsi. I'm a grown man. You know what I mean? I'm not going to drink water or milk.
By the way, Coca-Cola is so goddamn good. No free ads, but there's a free ad. If every once in a while you just slip a Coca-Cola into your life, like once a month, do it. Maybe once every 2 months, just go out on a limb and say, hey, I'm going to drink a Coca-Cola today, or maybe even a cherry Coca-Cola, and go ahead and turn your whole fucking day around. It's a very interesting thing. So you drink every single night, you just said. You drink red wine every single night? You drink every night of your life?
Yeah, that's a fair thing to say. I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time I took one off. You know what I mean? Like if I've got to drive 3 hours, guess what? I'm not drinking. But if I'm just home,
that's interesting. That's impressive. I want to let you know that. I wish I just chug beers though. Like I think that's my thing. Like I just chug beers. I don't really do much else. I don't really sip anything else.
I get it. There are guys that don't have a second gear. Like they're either not drinking or they're getting
I'll drink.
You know what I mean? I'm that guy who will have one or 2 after like.
So I'll drink one beer at that place, but it's like I take one gulp at the beginning, and then I take one gulp at the end while everybody else is drink their one beer. I just don't know how people just sit back and sip beer every single night of their life. I think it's so impressive. Because it gives me the shits. Like the next day, I just got the shits. Do you not have the shits like every day?
No, I don't drink beer every day. That much I can say. Because then I'm going to weigh 300 pounds. You know what I mean?
Jerry, you look good,
you pick your spots on that.
No, I got you. I'm impressed, Jerry. I like it a lot. I love it.
Nobody likes a quitter. Can actually tell you that I can't ever remember going on the wagon. You know, that maybe you're in college, you get that hangover, you go, I'm never going to do this again. Yeah, it's been a long time.
I had to because the substance abuse program. But I went off the wagon a little bit. I've had a good time.
We don't have one. Well, fellas, this was another great show. Unless somebody has stuff to add, I think we've cracked the 2-hour mark again because why not? Why the hell not? We're having a blast. And I love doing this. Anything I missed? Anything you want to throw in there?
I think we're good. We kept it to the 90-minute mark like our boy wanted us to, so bam.
90-minute max.
Yeah. Absolute max. That really means he wants it like 115, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, we're over 120.
Why are speed limits a thing, first of all? But why? Like, I don't like the name speed limit. I think it should be speed recommendation. And I think they should be faster. They should be higher. Because I think limit kind of sells it wrong. There's a lot of people here in Indiana that go ahead and hop in the farthest left lane and they do the limit. And then now there's the middle lane doing the limit and the far right lane doing. Now you have 3 pace cars, Jerry, and I'm about sick of it. So that's all I just got to say. That's my last thing.
You're preaching to the choir on this, masshole. Around here, red lights are a suggestion.
I love that.
Make up my own rules.
I love that. I was on the Autobahn. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been on that a couple times. That seems to be great. Why don't we just do that with every road?
Yeah, somehow the Germans can handle it, but out here we friggin' can't. I don't know. Somehow we need 65, and a-holes like driving below that in the left lane.
I hate school zones too. I'm gonna take heat for this. I fucking hate them. If we have a problem keeping the kids in the schools, we need to talk to the teachers.
Wait, you hate what? It cut out.
School zones.
School zones. Oh, okay. Why do you think school zones are there, Pat?
To slow down.
But yeah, school zones come alive when kids are either getting to school or they're getting let out.
But why are they anywhere near the road?
Because kids walk home. They walk onto the bus. They get on and off buses.
Huh? What?
Yeah, that's how it works. They don't just
but we can
travel
agree.
to their houses.
All right, so we can agree that if a school has a big entry area, like a few acres of an entry area, and it's like let's say it would be a 5 to 7 minute walk from school to road, maybe a 3 to 5 minute walk from school to road. There's no reason I should be slowing down. If these teachers can't catch these kids, because it's normally in like a 40-mile-an-hour zone anyways. If these teachers can't catch these kids within that time, we need to go back to what's going on in the schools. Do you ever see a kid just roaming around on the streets outside of a school zone? Never. You never ever see one. You never ever have, and you never will. And it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, you raise a good point. I mean, sure, driving 20 will save a few kids' lives, but think of the people who'll be late to where they're trying to get to.
That's what I'm talking about. You think that's going to save a life? No, I think it's all propaganda.
I'll say this. You never see a kid outside the school. You just don't.
You never see a kid on the street, ever.
I know people who live at the end of the driveway of our elementary school, and their kid takes the bus. I'm not kidding.
And you'll never see the kid outside.
Because they don't want him walking up the driveway because he might get hit.
I think there should be red things at every single railroad crossing. The thing.
Stop signs?
The arm that comes down there?
That's not at every single railroad, by the way. Boy, it's a sweaty situation when you pull up there. You never know if your nose is out too far at the stop sign of those things because they don't. It's a very interesting. I'm like, well, I haven't had a chance to look left or right, but what if my nose just gets taken off right now? There's a thing. It's an awkward situation, Jerry.
Out here a bunch of years ago, we had a girl get hit. Her car got crushed by a train because she went around those arms.
Yeah.
Like went around it to cross the tracks.
Did she get out of the car once she realized she was stuck?
No, she was killed. And her
Oh,
dad blamed
Jesus.
the bars, saying they should be longer, or there should be more of them, or there should be one on each side of the road. I'm sorry, you're a grieving dad. Your daughter went around the bar that says their train is coming. There are bells. There are flashing lights. Like, at some point, and I'm sorry, no one said this to the guy, but we're all thinking it. There's a Darwin factor here. You know, your daughter didn't need to go wherever she was trying to go. Ergo, she died. She was a squirrel trying to cross the road instead of just staying on her little squirrel side of the road. And I feel terrible for you, but don't blame the train. Blame the person who drove in front of it. And
I would like to say, though, that trains are very, very disruptive to traffic patterns here in Indiana. These fucking things never end, bro. I understand, like, we're the crossroads and blah, 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 and I understand it, but boy, these trains, they do whatever the fuck they want, Jerry. They can be 700 fucking cars long, Jerry. They do whatever they want. They go at whatever speed they want to go in. I've seen motherfuckers stop them right across the middle of the road, Jerry. Just stop the goddamn train. And they just got the red blinking thing down, and there's nothing you can do. You know who's answering your question? Nobody. There ain't nobody there to answer when the fuck this thing's going to move again. Who are you going to call? The guy up in the fucking front? He's 72 fucking train cars away. You're fucked. These trains run a real racket here in the middle of America. And I just want to, all I want is just a little red arm thing to stop me from dying from one of the racketeers. That's all I got.
There you go. Yeah,
Good
well,
show.
we all want that. Don't die this week. Be careful.
I'll stop.
Be careful at Pat McAfee Show. You too, at Official AJ Hawk. Follow us on at Laces Out Show.
Oh.
What do you got?
This just in. Martellus Bennett, interviewed after the game tonight, says, last week I thought I was going to be on the IR. Right now I'm just like, fuck it. Bennett told his agent to tell teams not to claim him because he was going to get surgery. When Bill called, I was like, no fucking way. Bennett said after getting waived, he got vengeance in his heart that made him want to play. Vengeance in his heart.
Dude, AJ, I'm legit sorry that you really like that doctor, because it might make this story a little less hilarious to me, but only a little less. It's amazing, man. It's like Belichick just manipulated everybody and pulled this thing off.
Yeah, somehow it's worked out for him. I don't know, man. What a regard. Yeah, whatever Marty's doing is fine, but yeah, Doc McKenzie, as I said, he's the man.
Going into Sunday night, they had 3 catches all season from tight ends not named Gronkowski, and they were all by Jacob Hollister. Nobody can identify one of them. Nobody knows who Jacob Hollister is. Dwayne Allen didn't even have a single catch. He had like 50 for the Colts last year, and now they had Bennett, and now Dwayne Allen's catching touchdowns. This is insane, man. It's going to be a crazy second half of the season with that guy, because I friggin' love him, and I don't care who knows it.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, fellas, this was fun. We went way over our time, and you know what? I regret nothing. We lay down the law, and